This is episode 58 of the VR Gaming Podcast. We're on YouTube and every podcast platform. I'm Justin, also known as mame-fan, and I'm here with Alex, also known as Virtual Insider. And this is going to be, I think, a long one. What do you think, Alex?
She said.
Yeah.
It'll be a long one. I mean, we've got we've basically missed a month because there's so many games coming out. We kept saying, "Oh, we'll wait for this to come out. We'll wait for that to come out before we do it." Before you know it, it's basically the end of the next month. So we've got like 2 months worth of games to cover, plus maybe talk about the overall year as well. So yeah, there's lots and lots and lots to talk about.
Yeah, so the last big game that came out, there's 4 big games that have come out. We've already talked about 2 of them on the previous podcast, but the last big one is Alien Rogue Incursion. So that came out December, I don't know, was it 17th or 13th?
19th, something.
19th?
Yeah.
Okay.
18th, I can't remember.
So
one of those.
I've played 6.5 hours of it. You haven't gotten to play much of it, even though Alien, is Alien your favorite franchise?
Yeah, it's definitely up there. I love the Alien movie. Well, most of the Alien movies, but I just think the Xenomorph is so freaking cool. They're still the best monster, like in a movie series or
I completely
game
agree.
series.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess I'll start. So you play as this woman Zula Hendricks, who apparently is from the comic books, and which I've never read. And you start out, you're in a ship flying with your android companion, and you crash on a planet, I guess. You just did the intro. I wasn't paying attention great because I was recording and thinking about that.
Yeah.
What did you crashed on a planet? What is it in the beginning?
It seems like, like LV whatever it is from Aliens film. It seems like there's another version of that, like a terraforming planet or something. So.
Okay. First thing I want to cover, when I first started the game up, like in the menus and stuff, it looked kind of blurry to me. So I looked at the settings and it had TAA, temporal anti-aliasing on. So I turned that to TSR. I don't know if you have to have a specific video card to turn TSR on, but that made it way sharper. And then also the default was 0.9 pixel density, and I put it just up to 1.0. And then I had most things on high, but I had shadows on medium. I don't know. What did you change the settings to?
I changed a bunch. I changed a lot of stuff to medium because our performance is pretty rough for me.
Yeah.
I tried TSR. I also tried TSR on Metro as well, and for some reason it just does not run well on my computer. My performance goes absolute shit. So I ended up just sticking with TAA because if I work in Metro, I turned on TAA off because I found that it still looked great as long as you pump in the resolution high enough. But for some reason with Alien, that there's a lot of shimmer, so I ended up just sticking with TAA. It still looks good, but it's not as sharp as it could be for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's one problem with this game is the performance. And I guess we'll talk more about that. So you get 3 weapons. You get a revolver on your right hip, and I don't know if I say the weapons. Is that a spoiler? I mean,
not really.
Okay.
You just get 3 guns.
Yeah, your left shoulder is a shotgun, and then your right shoulder is a pulse rifle. And I thought the pulse rifle sounds really good. It sounds like out of the movies.
Yeah.
But did you notice that it'll kind of like lock into your shoulder sometimes?
That's an option in the settings which I turned off. Some sort of ADS thing. Yeah.
What does ADS stand for?
Is it? I can't remember. Something. I don't know.
Okay.
What does ADS stand for? And not all I know is that there's an option for where it like locks to your dominant eye. So if you pull it up, it'll lock the sights to your dominant eye, which I don't want that.
Yeah.
So I turned that off.
So if you keep the pulse rifle low, it doesn't happen. But if you bring it up kind of high, yeah, it locks it. And I got really annoyed. But yeah, I'm almost done with the game. But it wasn't too much of a problem because I usually just held it low. Because you don't really need to aim like up.
Well, there's so many bullets. It's like 99 rounds in a magazine, and you can just like spray and so you
Yeah.
just watch the tracer bullets. So you don't have to really aim down the sight anyway.
Yeah. And so then on your left arm you have grenades, which I have trouble using. Like if I ever use a grenade, I end up just hurting myself. Then on um on your on your left wrist is a syringe, which you have to use a lot in this game to give yourself health. Then on your right arm is a tracker, the thing that goes, that beeps. It's the classic
Yeah,
tracker from Alien.
yeah,
Then
motion
you have
tracker.
the motion tracker. Then you have a data pad, which you have to use to interface with computers and stuff. Then you have a wire tool where there's little wire puzzles where you have to like move these wires around to open doors and stuff. Then you have you get a plasma cutter to cut open doors. Then you also have a flashlight, which you can activate by clicking like on your left shoulder. So there's a lot of gear to manage.
Yeah, I thought the
Um,
interactions were pretty good. Like
yeah,
they did a good job with obviously like when you have like this data pad thing which you pull out, you can press it with your other hand to access your inventory. You can plug it into like stations to save the game, or you can like use computer terminals. And then you have to grab like a joystick and move the joystick around with your real hand to aim on the
yeah.
screen. And then there's like these things that you can bypass where you get this little tool and then you can clip little wires and move them around. It all felt pretty solid. I think they've done a good job with that side of things, and it feels very VR. Like they've done a good job of making sure there's a lot for you to do with your hands. Like it's not just you walking around with a gun shooting things. There's a lot of interacting with switches and accessing terminals and stuff, which I like. I think it adds a lot to a VR game.
And have you gone through the cardboard boxes? There's lots of cardboard boxes, and like they would just kind of look like set dressing. But if you pick up the cardboard box and look into it, a lot of times there's syringes or ammo and stuff in them. I don't know if you've
Oh,
noticed
I've
that
not
yet.
noticed that.
Yeah, you need
No.
to any cardboard box that has a lid that can come off. Yeah, you need to investigate it. The only issue with that is like sometimes it's hard to get the thing out of the box because your character's hand wants to grab the side of the box. It's pretty
Yeah,
finicky. It's pretty finicky. Oh, so
I
you've had
found
that
that
issue somewhere?
just with certain things, like when I'm trying to grab my motion sensor, I keep grabbing the pulse rifle.
Yeah.
It's annoying me. So I think they could have done with spacing things a little bit better, or maybe moving the motion tracker somewhere else, or where you have to use grip hand trigger to get the motion tracker, or just something extra just to stop you from grabbing the wrong thing. That's the main complaint. Other than that and performance, are my main two complaints right now.
Okay. And then what about with the revolver? How did you feel about so all of this is manual reload, but with the revolver, there's kind of this animated of putting the bullets in. Do you think that matters? Do you think it would be too annoying to put them in individually?
I mean the animation. It's an anime. Well, basically, you bring your hand up to the revolver, and it kind of like you have to move your hand backwards and forwards to activate the animation, but your hand kind of like stays there. So it's a bit weird. I mean, I think they could have let you just move your hand freely, and it would have just put them in. But it's not bad. I mean, it's not like it's a deal breaker. I mean, how often did you use the revolver anyway? I think most of the time you're going to be
Oh,
using the
later in the game, I got to the point where all my guns were out of ammo. Like
right.
this game,
Yeah,
this game is fucking hard.
yeah.
I died a lot. I mean, I'm like 6.5 hours in. Where are you?
Oh, I'm only like an hour,
An hour.
maybe not even an hour. Yeah, I mean, I think the problem was that the performance was really like it's fine, and then all of a sudden it'll just really like start stuttering and running really bad,
Yeah.
and it was just really starting to annoy me to the point where I'm like, I can't. I just want to wait until they patch this up because it's really rough with the way it is now.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem with the game. And I have a 4090 and a good CPU, but I am doing wireless with virtual desktops. And I was maxing out my wireless at, 500 megabits per second. I don't know how much of that affects my performance. But yeah, I had, okay, so this is an Unreal Engine 5 game, just like Behemoth. And they're both like hard to run for me at least. And I don't know, sometimes I
I
don't know
think
if it's the wireless or if it's the engine.
no, I think it's the engine. It's just that this weird stutter problem where it's almost like
Yeah.
something loads into the game and it causes the game to go like stutter and drop frames to the point where it's unplayable for like a few seconds, and then it'll be fine again. But
Mhm.
it just does it way too much. And in Behemoth, I found it did it, but it didn't do it as much. Like you could go quite long stretches without it happening, but with an Alien, I find it's happening quite a lot, and it's just really affecting the enjoyment of the game. So I did stop playing it.
Okay. It has great. What it does have that's great is the atmosphere and the story is really good because there's a story with your android and what happens and everything. But like the atmosphere, I think it's really great. And like
Yeah,
just how it all looks and it's just very alien. And the xenomorphs are actually very scary because if they hit you, pretty much if they hit you twice, you're dead. So you're really
yeah,
fucking it's really tense. Like Fire
yeah,
Aliens Fire Team Elite, you're just like whatever, who cares? You're laughing at the fucking Xenos. You're not scared at all. Whereas in this, like I am fucking terrified that they're gonna hit me. Um,
yeah. They do take quite a lot of shots as well. I found like
yeah.
you have to empty quite a lot into them to kill them, which I'm not sure how I feel about. In some ways, I prefer them to be a bit faster because they seem to keep the distance. Like you have a good amount of time before they get to you.
Yeah, that's true. A lot.
They don't
Well,
like just charge at you.
there have been some times where I'm just standing there and then I turn around and then there's a xenomorph right there and I didn't even know. They creep up on you sometimes. But yeah, they usually
Yeah,
do give you enough time to completely plan what you're gonna do.
there was
But
one. I was opening this because they've got these panic rooms, which are basically save rooms, save points.
mhm.
And I was opening one of those with the wires, and then my motion tracker started beeping. So I like span around, got my motion tracker out, and I could just see the dot of the alien just like coming closer and closer. And the next minute, it just literally just walked around the corner like upright. It would just like walked around the corner,
Yeah.
and then I just blasted it, and it took quite a few shots, and it didn't really seem to react much. So there's I think there's definitely some improvement with the way the AI works in sometimes.
There's one animation the Xenos do, that upright walking animation that just looks silly.
Yeah,
I don't know why they went with that.
yeah, it looks really goofy, like the
Yeah,
way that it literally just walked around like a person, basically just walked
exactly.
around the corner, and then it was like it wasn't scary at all. It was just really, it looked kind of stupid.
No, this whole time I've been forgetting to play my video. So
Oh,
I could
got
have
your
been playing
video.
this the whole time. So yeah,
Um,
I did a video of the game. Let me see if I can get to where. Oh, here's
did you
where I
find that the
was.
guns had like a smooth, like too much smoothing on them? Like when you move them around, they feel a bit too
Yeah,
like,
some. Okay,
uh,
I think the revolver. I think maybe the
yeah, that's the
revolver had the
worst one.
most of that. Yeah,
Yeah,
and the other ones had less. I
but when
even
you move
caught.
the revolver around, it kind
Mhm.
of like it just feels like it just lags quite a lot to where you want them
Yeah.
to be.
Let me see if I can get to like a Xeno part. Yeah. Okay. So like anytime you make noise in this game, almost every time the Xenos just come out right then, and you kind of know. You end up learning like, all right, if I use my plasma cutter, the Xenos are gonna come. If I do, if I shoot this panel, they're gonna come. So I guess you
Yeah, I've
do get.
heard people say if you can be quiet, apparently they come less. But I've heard people say that they kind of like they spawn a bit too predictably. Like they come every like 2 minutes or something. So you can be just doing a puzzle or something, and then they'll just come while you're in the middle of a puzzle,
Yeah.
which people find annoying. So I think they are looking at doing a patch to like rebalance things a little bit because I don't really want them spawning constantly when I'm trying to just do some sort of like reading an audio log or listening to an audio log or they probably need to balance it a little bit.
Yeah, I have wondered a lot about that, and I haven't seen an answer yet from Servios as to are they just timed or are they coming based on the noise you're making? And a lot of times I'm sprinting around the place, and I'm wondering, is that going to
Yeah,
attract them, or do I need to be
well, I kind of
walking?
figured. Yeah, I kind of figured you would be sprinting a lot, which would definitely probably draw more of them in. So
Yeah.
that's probably going to make it harder for you.
There's a guy
Oh, that's the
walking.
guy.
Yeah,
That's the guy who is the same spot. That's the guy who was like literally came around the corner walking.
yeah, yeah.
You're doing your little thing,
Oh yeah, I did.
checking
Yeah, I
this
made
out.
fun of him. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah, it
would
looks
reminded
stupid.
me, wasn't it Aliens like Colonial Marines where people were making fun of that game because they were walking
Yeah, there's
funny?
clips where they're like that, where they're just like walking around. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know how you because like yeah, when they run on all fours, that's when they look the best. But when they're upright, they kind of look a bit weird.
Yeah.
It's a good game though. I mean, so far obviously I've not played a lot of it, but it's definitely it's been getting good reviews overall. There's been a big controversy over the fact that they've now announced that it's basically part one of two rather than being a quote
Yes.
unquote full game, which I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah. So if you're judging it on its reviews, you can't really do that because a lot of people have been review bombing it because it's a part one and they didn't announce it until the day of launch, which was really dumb on their part. Servios, like they should have.
Yeah, I don't even know why they did it because I mean, fair enough if it's not the full. I mean, I don't know. It depends on how the game. Oh shit! You just got grabbed. It depends
Yeah.
on how game ends. I guess if it does just cut off, then that would be frustrating. But to me, like if it's as long as it's a full length game, which apparently it is, it's like 8 to 10 hours. Then I don't care that much really. If it is, if it is, there's going to be a sequel. Like that's fine. It doesn't really bother me that much. So in some ways, I feel like they would have been better off not making it this whole thing with part one. I don't know why that happened. Did someone? I don't really know how that came about because
Well,
they
there
seem to
were
like panic.
there were YouTubers that and their achievements they got in Steam
Right.
said like part one on the achievement. So I think that's when all these people started learning that, oh, this is just a part one. Because like I guess they had friends on Steam. A lot of these YouTubers will just they'll just be friends with lots of people on Steam, and then it just spread. That's how I first heard about it. That all of
Right.
their achievements said part one, and then everybody started speculating about that, and then
Why
Servios,
did
yeah,
they
on the
just
day
not?
of launch.
Why did they
They
just
could have
not
just
call it
not.
part one?
That's what I said on their
Yeah.
Discord. I said on their Discord, just don't call it part one. Just release the sequel and just give it a different name or something.
Just give it a different. Yeah. Just it's a. Lots of games get sequels. It's not that big of a deal. Like just
Exactly.
bring the game out. Don't mention anything about part one, and then just bring out the second game as a sequel. I really don't understand why they
I
made
guess
that
it
decision. But
depends how soon they're gonna come out with the sequel. If it's like, if it's in only a few months, then I guess maybe the part one and two makes more sense. But if it's like a year later, shit, just just name them different things.
yeah, yeah, it's a strange one. I feel like they've shot themselves in the foot a little bit with that because that's now a lot of people have. I've seen people who haven't even played the game who are like, "Oh, the game sucks because it's a part one." And it's like, well, have you played the game? Find out for yourself if the game's good. But now
Yeah.
everyone's just talking about the whole thing like it's part one of two. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's strange.
Yeah, so I like the game a lot, but we've talked about performance issues. I had an issue where I went through a cutscene where like it was just I'm sure this has happened to you where you're in a cutscene and everything around you is black. And you're thinking to yourself, is this what it's supposed to be? Like, am I supposed to not see something? And it was
Right.
really I just had to walk somewhere else in my room to be able to see the cutscene. So I posted that on their Discord that that's a bug they need to fix. But like it was a very important cutscene and I just completely missed it all.
Right.
And that it's actually in my video. There's a part. So I would this game is is like in between Alien Isolation and Fireteam Elite, where Fireteam Elite is just like they just send you millions of Xenos and you're not even scared. And then Isolation, you're really fucking scared of that Xenomorph because it'll kill you if it even sees you. And then this is in between. The whole I don't ever get scared in games, but I'm scared in this game. Just scared of dying in the game because like when you die, you have to
Save
start
points.
back at
Like,
the save point. And sometimes it's not. It could be quite a while since your last save.
I think that's done on purpose though to raise the tension so that you're scared of dying.
I like that.
Because
Yeah.
they've said like Resident Evil games do that. You know, where you have save rooms, so you can't. And you can have stretches where you're just about surviving, and you just get to a save room, and it feels satisfying to
Yeah.
finally get to that save room because if you die, it's not that bad. But yeah, I think it's I don't know. Some people complained about it, but I just think it's a bit of an old school way of doing things, maybe. But I just think it really ramps up the tension. And a game like this is all about the tension. Like the xenomorphs are scary in this game. You know, they're a threat. You have got to be on your toes, and they can come from above you. They can come from different directions. And I think they've done a really good job of getting that balance between because with Alien Isolation, I know it annoys me. That sort of stuff annoys me because after a while, it's not scary anymore. It's just annoying because you just constantly having to sneak everywhere
Yeah.
and hide under things. Whereas this, I like the fact that you've got a weapon, you can fight back, but they're still scary because they're still hard to kill. They're still obviously, like you said, they can kill you very easily. So yeah, it seems like they've struck a good balance. If it was too scary, I probably wouldn't even be able to play the game. But as it is, I think it's got a good balance to it from what I've seen anyway.
People are always talking about how great Alien Isolation is in VR with the VR mod, but I didn't like it at all. I like this a
Yeah,
lot more than Alien
yeah, me too.
Isolation with the VR mod. Because with the VR mod, you have to use a gamepad. Well, fuck that. I don't. It's just
Yeah,
not.
it's just the entire hide and seek thing. I really don't like that in games.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Like
Yeah.
when you're constantly hiding and you're powerless. I mean, you weren't powerless in isolation. You could like defend yourself, but yeah, I do prefer this game where you've got a gun and you can fight and shoot them. It's
Yeah, and
more
there
my
were
sort of
also
thing.
I also had issues in that mod where I couldn't like use the computer terminals, and you have to use the terminals to craft and stuff. Um,
Yeah, I think if there was like an official Alien Isolation VR version, like with motion controls and everything was like polished, maybe I'd feel differently. But yeah, just playing it with a gamepad and some jank, like when you go to a terminal, your terminal would be the wrong way. If you physically turn, like it would be a problem with the terminals and stuff. So
yeah,
it wasn't ideal. But this game's good though. I like it. I think if they can sort the performance out, maybe tweak the spawning of the aliens, I think it could be like a really one of the best. Well, it'll be up there as one of the best games of the year.
yeah. All right, so we'll go to your first game, which is Batman: Arkham Shadow, and I'll have the video. I'll have the video playing this time.
Yeah, I mean we
Oh,
we played we talked about this last time. Um, so we don't need to go through it from like scratch what we thought of it. It was mostly just, I guess, some updated impressions. The problem is that, and as we talked about this last month, is that once you get to the prison, it kind of killed it for me a little bit. And I
mm-hmm.
found that, like, out of all the games I've got, it's the one of the least I want to even play right now because I know that I've got to go through these prison segments. I've actually got to a point where I've gone through another prison segment and I'm now ready to be Batman again, but I still haven't gone back to it. So I don't know what it is because it is a really good game. Like overall, I think it's a solid game. It's just these moments where you're just in the prison. And the thing is, as well, is it's like it's reusing the same environment over and over. And the environment, it looks okay, but it's not like it doesn't diversify that much. Like when you're going through the game, when you find that first 2 hours or whatever it was, I thought the game was brilliant. Like when you're going through the city, you get to see the city, and you go to these different locations, and then it's like you go to the prison area, and then you're basically in the prison. From what I
No,
understand, for the rest of the
no,
game, pretty
no, know
much.
what annoys me about that first 2 hours? I wonder if they did that intentionally because they knew all of
Oh,
these
for the
VR
refund.
reviewers would just play that much and then be like, "Oh, it's amazing!" Because that's what I heard. I heard them saying it was so amazing, and then I asked them, "Did you get to prison?" And they're like, "No, I haven't gotten there yet." Almost
Yeah,
always. Yeah.
because the first 2 hours are really good. Like I really,
Yeah.
really enjoyed that. If that was the entire game like that, where you're going through all these different like environments, to different parts of the city, solving clues, being Batman the entire time, it would easily be my game of the year. Probably one of the best games I've played. But it's just the fact that they clearly wanted to stretch out the game and reuse the same environment over and over by doing this whole prison thing where you play as a prisoner and then you go as Batman, and you're basically just cycling through the same environments, just slight tweaks where you might be able to branch off to us. I guess it's kind of Metroidvania in a way, but not really because it's all really scripted to where you go and what you do. But yeah,
If you're watching on
it's still a
YouTube,
good game.
you're seeing the prison experience. It's just, yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of talking to inmates and walking around, talking to guards.
yeah. I mean, I did, the last time I did it was with what's his name, Matches Malone or whatever his name is,
Mhm.
and you literally go to do a group therapy session, and then you literally just sit in to listen to
Yeah.
people talk. That was literally the part of the prison where you're not Batman. That's literally what you're doing. It's like, well, it's not fun. I'm just literally sitting to listening to people talk, following some guy walk very slowly through a corridor. He
But
gives
at,
me some sort of task, which takes ages for him to tell me what I need to do, and yeah, it's just annoying.
but at least there was Dr. Harleen Quinzel there in the group therapy.
Yeah, I mean that's always a highlight, but
Yeah.
it's just yeah. I like the game when you're Batman. I don't like it when you matches Malone or whatever his name is,
Yeah.
and I just think that reusing the same environment over and over just feels like obviously they just didn't have the budget to maybe make enough environment to fill out a full length game.
Mhm.
Um, which is another issue with Metro, which we'll talk about as well. But yeah, it's just
Yeah.
these games they're not they're good games, but they fall short because of some of the limitations of the quest with the levels, and because of some obviously problems with the budget where they've not been able to make. It's obvious what they're doing. They're just trying to pad the game out and make it longer by reusing the same environments, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really torn on this game. Yeah, the I really don't like the matches Malone parts, but then you become Batman. You have to you keep breaking out of prison so that you can go be Batman. And then you go back into prison intentionally to become matches. You just do it over and over and over.
It's like four. Is it 4 cycles or
It's
something?
more. I think it's more
Because
than
there's
that. I think it's more than 4 cycles.
it?
It says
Yeah,
5 days, so maybe it's 5 cycles.
yeah. I've done it twice so far, so
You
I'm
have a lot more to
got
go.
3 more to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Well, one thing I wanted to note about this game is, did you notice how good the finger physics is? I don't know if I've ever seen better finger physics.
I saw some videos. I just found it funny. I saw some videos on Reddit with people with this, and it's just such a weird thing that people got obsessed with. Like, oh my god, look at the finger physics. It's just, I don't know. I just find it funny how people catch on to these little tiny things that you've got this full game
Yeah.
which has been made with the story and fighting, and the big thing that people talk about is the fact that your physics like move realistically when you brush up against a wall or something. It's
Were the
funny.
were they showing Dr. Harleen Quinzel their finger physics?
Yeah, when you yeah, I won't say what I was going to say, but you were when you're using your fingers and
Yeah.
poking things. Yeah,
So, I mean, are you gonna try to beat this, or are you just gonna give up on it?
I'll go back to it. Like I say, it's just I've got so many games to play right now, and this is the one that I don't want to play. That it's not one I'm like rushing to get back to, which is it's annoying because I honestly thought it would be a game that I'd really want to play until I finished it. But it seems that there's not many games that have really like caught my attention where I want to just play through and finish them because I keep flicking to different games all the time. And then there's so many new games been coming out. There's games that I've not even bought and played yet, which I want to play. So it's just not enough time. Too many games, which is a good problem to have. But why the hell do they have to release them all? All at the end of the year. Why can't they just be spread out? It would be easier.
I have no idea. This video is somebody else's video. He's really milking these prison scenes. But this is what you really go through when you play it. All this prison crap.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah. Um. So, anything else about Batman?
No, I'll keep playing it, and if I change my opinion, but based on what I've played, I think it's good, but just let down by these prison parts. I would say that's my main
Oh, here's a
criticism.
fight. Finally, something's happened. I mean, you do fight when you're in prison, and the fights
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
And one
are
thing that you
yeah.
learn, you can
Sorry.
like pick up sand and throw it in people's faces, which I thought was
Oh,
kind of like this.
I don't think I ever did that.
Yeah, it's kind of like when the Batman kind of like sweeps his cape out.
Uh huh.
If you do kind of like the same option, but with when you play matches Malone, he like throws sand in the face to stun them. So
Oh, okay.
you can still do that move.
Well, at least something cool's happening in this video. All right.
Yeah,
I guess I'll go to the next one.
yeah,
The next one is Skydance's Behemoth, and this is my video again. I think everybody's seen this. This is the first
first
Behemoth
Behemoth.
you get to. Have you gotten to this thing yet?
No, not yet.
Well, that explains what. Now I understand better what you told me
Well,
earlier.
I'm waiting for
Patches,
patches because I've heard that it's a bit of jank.
but
So
not Patches Malone. You're not waiting for that.
no
Yeah.
patches.
All right.
No.
No. Okay, so I beat this game. It took about 14 hours.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Um, I would say it's mostly great graphics. There are some places where it's like the textures are low res or where the geometry is pretty basic, but it's mostly great graphics and like they're really great vistas and shit to look at. Have you already seen
Yeah.
that when you played?
Oh, it's definitely out of all these new games we've had, these are the best looking. I think personally, I think it's just really stunning to look at.
Yeah.
And what I like about this over the others is because all the others have got they're all in like these restrictive corridors and like especially like with aliens and with Metro, it's like really dark and using your flashlight. Whereas this is like in these big. Obviously, you're not in an open area, but it's an illusion. Sorry, it's an illusion because you're effectively still walking down corridors, but you can see like off into the distance. You can see like these vistas with beautiful scenery and stuff, and it's all bright and it's like white and snowy and stuff, and it just makes the game feel to me more enjoyable because of that over the others because it just feels more different to all the other games, and it just feels for me this game feels more VR. Like
Hmm.
the way, just with the way the interactions are, with the way everything feels more like you're doing it rather than like with Batman. You've got this grappling hook, and you don't even have to have your hands up. You literally just look at something and press A. Whereas this, you've got to literally aim your hand, and then you can like reel it in, reel it back down, swing on it and stuff. And yeah, it's a bit more janky, but it just feels like more of a proper VR game over these pre-scripted stuff that you're getting in a lot of stuff like Batman and in Metro.
Okay,
I've not
so
got to the janks as much as you, but I
mhm.
think from what I've played, I think it's my favourite out of the ones I've played so far.
See, some other things I liked about it are the blade sounds I thought were really good. So I would drag my blades like against different textures or against like here I'm dragging against stone, here I'm dragging against wood, and it would make realistic
Yeah,
sounds. That impressed me. You can pull yourself up on boxes with grip. Whereas I think in like Batman you had to like what did you have to do like the thumbstick or
push
something
both
to
thumbsticks.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I don't like that shit. So yeah, pulling yourself up in this is a lot better. Um This game's combat, I think, is pretty good. It's way better than Blade and Sorcery, in my opinion. So, like in Blade
yeah,
and
I agree.
Sorcery, I could just stick my sword out and walk into enemies and kill them. Can't do that in this game. You have to actually try. There's this strength power thing where you do your right trigger and then he goes, "Ah!" And then the screen goes all black and white and
Yeah,
you hear your heart pumping. Well, anytime I would come across an armored enemy, I would just use that, and then I would just go nuts on them, and they couldn't do shit to me. So that was my tactic the whole game. and
Yeah,
the strength refills really fast, so you can
it
just
does actually. It's a bit overpowered,
yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah, it is overpowered, especially so once I got to the armored enemies that had like big ass double-handed axes, battle axes, I just kept those battle axes and I use those to kill everyone. Instead of the weapon that the game tries to give you, they give you this little sword and this small axe. It's like, fuck that. I'm
Yeah,
going to use this battle axe, and I was just fucking everyone up. So yeah, it was overpowered. Um this video that if you're watching on YouTube, this was before they patched it. There were issues with this boss where like I would get he would stomp and I wasn't even anywhere near him and he would kill me, like take all my life down. Or sometimes if I was just standing near his foot, I would die. And that was some stuff
yeah,
they patched. I got really frustrated with this gameplay. I died a lot.
yeah. That's why
So
I'm waiting because I've
yeah.
heard. I mean, it's another one with performance problems where I get this stutter problems uh, as well, which is why I'm waiting. But I feel like these games are just you're always better off waiting for. I'd say that Batman's probably the most polished one at launch. Like there was really not much with that, but these others like Metro and this one and Alien, they've all got issues when they launched, and you wait a bit, they get patched, and then you get to you get to play them in the best version, I guess. So that's why I've been holding off playing these games.
I have another video, but I probably won't show it because it's like another it's the second boss, and I don't want to spoil that. So
Yeah, I would leave that one off. Yeah.
yeah. Um, so my biggest issue I think has been with this game is yes, it's janky. So like on all of these behemoths, I had to deal with a bunch of jank where like I couldn't get the controls to do what I wanted to do. All sorts of weird jank. And then the other thing is for me the movement is too slow. You do get this thing, but like it has a cooldown period and it's like the cooldown is too long for me. I just can't move fast enough. So like you were saying, yeah, it's a big open area, but I could not move fast enough to avoid this dude's shit a lot of times. Like I'm going as fast. Oh, and you can't strafe left and right sprinting. Like you can only move your snail's pace left and right.
Right.
And I think backwards too. You can only sprint forward.
Can
And
you
that
not
just
dash side to side?
you can dash, but there again, the dash is really small. You don't dash very
Right.
far, and it has the cooldown. You need to let me dash. I want to dash, 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 dash. Like the cooldown is too long, so I just can't move in this game.
Yeah.
That's the movement is my biggest issue. Then okay, so also climbing. Have you had issues with climbing? The climbing feels weird to me. It's like intentionally restricted. Like you grip and then like it pauses you for a second. Then you have to grip again. It's like they don't want you to be able to climb fast.
Yeah, I think this game because the first thing I did with this game is because like you're in this snowy thing, like a blizzard,
Hmm.
and you're sneaking up on these guys and stuff. And first thing I did was I tried to like jab my knife into a guy's head,
Yeah.
and it didn't work. And I was like, oh yeah, this is the Saints and Sinners. You've got to like swing your hand really like far. Like it's more about distance that you move rather than the amount of force you put into it. And I don't think they explained that in this game. Like with Saints and Sinners, they literally had this whole tutorial about
Yeah.
how when you're killing them, don't jab. Like literally, like do like long, broad swings and stuff. And if you haven't played Saints and Sinners, and you play this game, you probably would get frustrated with certain things like that because you don't know why. Why is it not working? Why isn't my jabs not working? Whereas what you really need to do is obviously like, be more like more higher movement but less speed. And I think the climbing's the same. Where with the climbing, you can't like just fling yourself up quick. You've got to kind of like be very deliberate with your hand movements. You've got to grab and then like move your hand more a little bit slower than you probably would do in some games. And if you understand how it works, it feels really good. But it's just if you're trying to fight against the system, then you're gonna have a bad time with it. So I think that could be a problem with the climbing for some people. But personally, I kind of understood that's what it was going to be like because it's Saints and Sinners system. Um, so for me, it was fine. But I can understand if you were trying to grab and quickly climb up, then you're gonna find it annoying.
Well, Saints and Sinners, you barely ever climb. In this game, you climb a lot.
Yeah.
This is like the climb almost with fighting. I mean, there's tons of climbing in this game, so I got really annoyed. Um, just restricting the speed of my climbing, and then it also just kind of feels bouncy. The climbing, I don't like the bouncy climbing shit.
Yeah.
It's hard to
I think
explain.
it's not as bouncy as like Blade and Sorcery
No, it's not. And there
or
it will
Bone Lab
Bone Lab
or
and all that shit. Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
definitely got that same sort of physics based thing where you're pulling yourself up and it's like yeah, I think it's pretty good personally, but it definitely isn't. If you want to just like move quickly, then you're just not going to be able to do it because it's not that sort of system.
yeah. I don't know. I have to be able to move quickly. Another thing that was annoying me is the belt. I saw that they were talking about it. The devs at least the belt is too high. So every time I grab my sword on my right, like I have to bring my hand up like a foot. I can't just let my
Yeah,
hand hang at the side. I have to bring my hand up a foot to get my sword. Did that not bother you?
not that I can think of. Uh,
That's so
no,
annoying.
I can't think of. Yeah, I can't think of any. I didn't really have any problems with the holster system.
Okay.
Maybe they've patched it already. I don't know, but
I don't. Well, oh, maybe they've moved it down. They just need to let you adjust it. Um,
yeah,
so I was fighting. So they have these mid bosses that are like usually just humans that are really big, and I was in the middle of fighting
yeah,
one, and it just disappeared out of nowhere. The health bar
right.
stayed, but he disappeared. I assume they fix shit like that. There are
I've not had any
puzzle.
problems with that. Yeah,
Okay, there are puzzles in this game, but they're really basic. There's nothing in there that's very interesting. So like while I was playing this, I was thinking they're trying to be Asgard's Wrath here, but this is just a to me a very much a lesser Asgard's Wrath. So Asgard's Wrath
yeah.
1, both 1 and 2, I put way above this game personally.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
I didn't
like
really like
when I was
God's
playing
Wrath
this
2.
game, sorry, what'd you say?
I just think I didn't really like God's Wrath 2, so
I know. When I was playing this game, I was like, "Jesus, shit! I was too hard on Asgard's Wrath 2 because I gave it like a 7 or something." And I was like,
yeah.
shit, now I feel better about Asgard's Wrath too. Because I honestly, after beating this game, I feel like this is a 5 for me.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's how much I don't like it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's low.
5 is average. That's on my scale, that's average. I've heard some people say that their average is 7, which doesn't make any sense to me. But,
Yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, for me, I feel like seven's kind of like the average game is a
really?
7.
Oh, maybe that was you I was talking about. Sorry.
Yeah. I just feel like yeah, to me like I feel like most games are a 7 and then you've got games that are like not as good, which are 5, and
Hmm.
you've got games which are great, which are like 8, 9. So I don't know, I just that's just the way I've always
To me, that puts
looked at it.
everything too high. Because
To
then
me, a
I
5
yeah.
feels like it's not a great game. Like it's kind
Th-
of
this is not a great game at all to me.
there you go then.
Yeah, not even remotely. Yeah, average to me is not a great game. Average is average. That's what it is to me. The graphics aren't average, but as a
No.
package, this is average to me. I don't
Yeah,
think
I have
that's.
seen a.
eh, Sorry, I think most
I've just seen
people
a.
would rate this higher than I am.
I have seen a lot of people like on Discord and stuff. Some people saying, "Oh my god, it's amazing," and then other people saying it's shit. So it seems a very divisive game. Like where some people really rate it higher, and some people think it's not great. Um, I do really like what I've played of it. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I've not even got to the Behemoth yet, so maybe I'll change my mind. But
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just got a certain feel to it, and a certain vibe, and the atmosphere, and the graphics, and the way that everything feels more like proper VR. It feels like a one of those. It's like when Saints and Sinners came out. It just felt like a step above a lot of other things, and this game, in some ways, feels like that. It's just got that. I can't even explain it. It's just got this thing that just makes it feel good to play in VR. Like it feels really VR, like I don't know. I don't know how to describe it.
I feel totally opposite. I don't know if I've ever been more opposite than you on this game. Everything
Yeah,
is dull and boring to me in this game.
yeah.
Except for the behemoths. So the behemoth fights are the only time in this game where I'm like, "Oh, this is interesting." Everything else is so boring to me. Like, you love graphics though. You're like you are a graphics whore, so
Just
maybe
think
the
it feels
yeah.
like, yeah, that definitely helps. I do feel like it's just like maybe just like a feeling of adventure as well. Like it just feels like you're going on this big like adventure
It doesn't feel
because
like
it's
an
just
adventure to me at all. Not even at all, not even
no,
remotely like an adventure. It
no,
feels
interesting.
like a completely desolate world with nothing going on to me. That's how I
Yeah,
feel.
it's interesting.
Um,
Well,
okay, so also, like Asgard's Wrath, you're collecting so many fucking things. There's so many different little types of trinkets and shit, and then you can go craft with
yeah,
them. In
it's
this game,
annoying.
no, I love that. I fucking love that
That's no, I
shit.
hate that.
Oh,
I
that
don't hate
explains
having to
it.
collect stuff all the time.
Oh, I love
It's annoying.
collecting.
Why do I need to do that?
Oh, I
When
love
if I'm walking around in real life, going through a
mhm.
freaking forest, I'm not constantly picking up trinkets all the time.
I
You know,
am.
you're going from. Are you?
No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. Uh,
I just want to like feel like I'm just immersed in the world. I don't need to be constantly having to break things and pick up. Oh,
okay.
here's some sort of mineral. Here's some, and then oh, now I can manufacture this thing. The crafting really annoys me in games. I mean, some people love
Ah,
that sort of
okay.
stuff.
That explains it.
But you know,
The
I hate that sort of stuff
Okay, so
in
well, this has that too, but to
games.
a much lesser degree. You have to find metal, and then with the metal, there's a forge where you can upgrade your weapons. You can upgrade your bow and your axe and your sword, and like
Yeah,
give. Oh, and you can also you get skill points to get like improve your strength, that right trigger power. So
yeah.
there's that, but it's just way less going on. Oh, here I am in this video. I'm showing like the surfaces. I'm showing finger physics. And
Yeah,
I was showing that that barrel actually stops. But here, so your hands will stop at objects, but your arms will go through them. Uh, and the camera is janking out in this video. I was
because
trying to
you're trying to put
show.
your body
I'm
through
trying to
something.
see like you can put your arm through stuff, and I was thinking like, is this normal? Like, so do games usually just stop your hand at things, and then not worry
Well,
about
yeah,
your
because
arm?
if your arms clipped through everything, then you'd get stuck all the time. Like, imagine if you can't
Hmm.
control where your arms are. That's why they only usually only have it on your hands, because otherwise you'd
Hmm.
literally be constantly knocking into things and getting stuck on things. That's why
Okay.
like Bone Lab and stuff can feel really janky because they have collisions on the entire body, but then you just end up getting stuck on things all the time, and it's annoying.
Okay, I was wondering about I didn't go. I wanted to go back into Batman and test it to see how that did it, how that handled it, but I didn't have time. Um, what else was there to say about this? That was just me in the video showing the sounds.
You look like some sort of special needs person. That's like just "Ugh, whoa,"
Oh, the
rubbing your
sound.
hands on things. Oh, whoa, wood, whoa,
Look at my big
oh,
sword.
sword, swing sword, hit
Skull.
rock.
Yeah. I like hearing the different sounds. I just want to, see like, oh, how do they handle this? I don't
Yeah.
know. So anything else? I think your opinion's going to change, but maybe you'll be defiant. And oh, there's my hands going crazy. I'm just showing some more jank.
You're like trying to break the game, though. You're like literally going around just sticking your
I'm
hands in
no,
everything.
I'm not even trying. I promise you, I wasn't trying. I was just like
Okay.
putting the weapon back, and then my hands just started going crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. So in this game, there's like vases, however you pronounce it, all over the place, and those are pretty much the only thing you
Yeah.
can break open, and you get metal out of them,
Yeah.
and you'll get the health. Oh, they give you so much health in this game that it's almost impossible to fucking die. So this game's pretty, I don't know, pretty easy until you get to those behemoths. You'll die a lot at the behemoths, but I died mostly from fucking jank issues, in my opinion. I don't
Yeah. I
know.
mean, I need to play more of it. I like what I played. My main problem was just and performance. But I mean, we'll see if it gets patched, and I'll play more, and I'll update my opinion if it changes. But as of now, I really like this game. I think it's probably my highlight of the year based
Wow,
on what I've
shit.
played.
And so
Maybe.
this guy here, this guy in the armor. Have you met him yet? I guess you have. That was early in the game, right?
Yeah, you have to free him early on. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So you'll learn more about him if you keep playing.
yeah,
All right. So, I do have some screenshots I took. Like, here's a beautiful vista from my
yeah,
gameplay. Then there's these caves with all these stalactites that are really cool
yeah.
looking. These look way better in the headset than they do here. And then here I show some
Mm,
low res textures that I was. And then there's another one. They looked worse in person. Just like the vistas. They
yeah.
look better in person. I think
Well,
that
that's,
was
that's
this.
fair
That
enough.
was
Yeah,
this. I think that was the second level.
that's
Yeah.
what I mean. I think personally, it feels like you're on this big grand adventure, like massive open
Oh,
sections, big
that reminds me.
vistas, and
Know what? Know what I think a big part of this is for me? The music sucks. There's no memorable music at all in this game. It's completely throwaway music that I don't even notice. Whereas Asgard's Wrath has at least one. I don't remember about two. I think we talked about one and two, like one having better
you
music.
preferred one
Yeah,
was better.
one
Yeah.
had like orchestral, powerful music. The music in this game is shit as far as I've noticed. And
Is
maybe
it
if
that
there was some
important to
like,
you?
say it again.
Is that sort of really important to you? Like
Yes, I think it must
music?
be.
Yeah,
Like the music. Okay, so there's a lot of movies that can make me cry, and it's only because of the music. It's not what's going on screen. It's that music is what really does it to me. Uh,
yeah.
so
I mean, even
so
music definitely can affect your mood and make you emotional. So I do
yeah.
get it, but I don't really notice the music personally.
Oh yeah, you're a guy. He's a guy that turns the music off in games a lot of times. So we
If
have
the music's like constantly just going on, and like Red
yeah.
Matter 2 was one like that, where it's just the same music all the way through the game. I just
Hmm.
turned it off. It drove me nuts.
Yeah.
At Walkabout Mini Golf, it just plays the same music while you're playing all the time,
Yeah.
so I just turn it off. If it's like built into the game where it'll come
Mhm.
in at certain sections and then go down, I'll leave it on. I'm not that bothered, but I can't be bothered to just listen to music the entire time I'm in a game. I'd rather just turn it off and just soak in the atmosphere of the wind or whatever other sound effects they've got in the game.
Yeah. Whereas if you turned off the music, I'm turning the game off. I'm not gonna play it. Yeah, I have to
Okay.
have the music. Yeah. Like imagine Zelda, the original, without that music. I don't want to play that shit. But you would be so annoyed by that original theme playing all the time, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, I would.
You'd
Yeah,
be
it's
like,
cool
fuck
when you've
that.
listened to it for 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Multiple hours, it's going to drive you nuts.
No, I
Just
want to. I want to
at
hear it
least
the whole time.
change you up to
Yeah.
the different music. I don't want to listen to the same music all the
Well, when you
time.
go into a dungeon, you'll have different music in Zelda, at least.
Um,
All right, we'll go to the next game. Metro Awakening. I talked about this. This isn't my video. Some random gameplay video so I'm trying to show more gameplay instead of trailers because I had a complaint that the trailers are just looping and they're boring.
yeah, true.
Um, yeah. So I beat this game also. But
Yeah.
do you want to talk or me? I don't know. Like first.
Um, I mean, I've played more. I've played more of this. I played like 4 hours of this. I've put a good amount of time into it now, and I really like it. I think I like it more than you, based on what I've played so far.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, I really think this game's got incredible atmosphere. I think they've done a really good job with just like when you're going through these tunnels and the way the lighting's done, and I really enjoy, even though the human AI isn't the best, and you can pretty much like, I don't really bother with stealth in this game because you can kind of just kill them pretty easily, but I still find it fun to like go through and like pick a guy off, take his shoot his head, and then quickly take another guy out. And I don't know, there's just something about this game that I do really like. I think it's fun. But I haven't finished it. So again, maybe I'll change my mind. But I've put like 4 hours into it, and yeah, I think it's quite tense at times. Like you've got these little rat type things that come running at you, and like they'll like run at you, bite you, and then run off. So that you've really got to be quick to shoot them because otherwise they'll just run off into a little hole or something. Which I think's a really cool little mechanic. Like the way that they, like with the even like with the aliens in Alien Rogue Incursion, like they just come at you and then they just come in at you. Whereas I like the fact that these little rodent things are like they're attacking you and then they're running off. So it puts you more on edge because you're obviously constantly watching for where they're coming from, and you're trying to take them out. And there's multiple enemies to kill. So I do actually really like Metro. Um,
Would you call the
Probably more than
rodents
Batman.
ROUSs?
I don't know what are they. What are they actually called? I don't know.
Oh, you
What's the
don't know.
actual
You
name?
don't remember that ROUSs? Do you remember the movie where they say ROUSs? I guess not.
No,
That's the
what
Princess
movie is
Bride
that?
from the Princess Bride.
No,
So in
I
the
don't know that.
fire swamp scene, they talk about ROUSs and it stands for rodents of unusual size.
Oh
Just I was
no,
just being a nerd.
yeah, you are a nerd. It's
Carry
fine.
on.
We're all nerds.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's it really. I mean, I just think I've not got to the point where I think you mentioned like this a lot of backtracking and stuff, which I haven't. I've experienced a bit of, but not
Hmm.
maybe as much as probably you get later on in the game, maybe. And I think you mentioned something about like you get these hallucination scenes which you didn't like, but I've not
Yeah.
really had that. So I've not got to the parts where I'm not. And I think that another thing that between me and you is like if you play a game, you literally play a game till you finish it, and like
Hmm.
you just play it. Whereas because I like play a bit of this and I go and play a bit of that, it breaks it up a little bit. So then I don't find myself getting as annoyed about things as much because if I played this game constantly all the way through, I probably would find it gets really repetitive and you're seeing the same corridors and stuff. But obviously because I'm playing it like and then maybe it could be like a week goes by before I play it again or 2 weeks. I don't
Hmm.
find it bother much. So that will definitely affect my opinion on games. Just the way I play them versus you.
If I did that, I wouldn't even remember like what was I doing? Where am I? I would have to like relearn everything. I think like where are my guns? What do I
Yeah.
fuck do I do with this thing? Is that how you feel every time you go back to a game?
No, I feel like most games are pretty similar, like your holster points and
Uh huh.
stuff.
Okay.
I don't feel like most games have got like these really unique interactions. I think Batman was the one when I went back in and I was like, oh, I've got to relearn how to do certain things, but that's different to like a game with guns and equipment. Generally, you're just grabbing your body in different areas and you're getting your shit.
Yeah. But there's some places in this game that were pretty maze like where I was getting lost and I was like, have I already been here? I can't tell. Fuck, because a lot of it looked the same and
Yeah,
so yeah, probably even happened in some of the gas mask sections where I'm like stressing out over, am I gonna run out of fucking filters? God damn it, I don't know where to go.
yeah.
Um, so after playing Behemoth, this game, I felt better about this game. Behemoth just made me think better about everything. Um, God. So one
You
thing that
should have
was,
played that first.
I know, uh, one thing I noticed about this game that a lot of games don't have is we're back to finger physics now. When you touch bodies, like of the NPCs and stuff, your hands in this game actually stop. In most games, your hands go through them, and
Yeah,
I guess a lot of devs don't want to have to put the uh, the boundary there or whatever. What's the term? The to stop your hands.
collision.
Collision. There you go. They don't want to put the collision, but these devs did on the NPCs. Yeah, like you said, there were a lot of repeated sections. There were a lot of those like train sections where you're just. Have you done a train section yet? Like here's one in the video where.
One where you go through a train. This is another thing, like I said with Batman, where it feels padded. But you can tell, like when they've designed the levels, they've tried to make you walk as far as fucking possible. So, like, you'll have a train, and you have to walk through a bit of the carriage, then you walk outside the carriage along the walkway. Because there's a box in the way, so you can't climb over the fucking box. You've got to walk next to up and then down and then back.
Oh,
So like the door
zigzag.
might be,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
it's like the door's literally right there, but then they just make you zigzag through the like this level, and this is the same thing they did with Arizona Sunshine and stuff, where they just like try and pad it out and make it longer. They'll make a level and then they try and find the longest path possible for you to get across the room, and they do that in this game
Yeah.
to like you're going like because you never seem to be going directly anywhere. You're going through vents and then you're going this and like you're constantly weaving through places rather than just going straight, which can be a little bit annoying, especially when you see it really obviously. Like when you can see that they've basically just put boxes in your ways to stop you from going somewhere, so you have to walk around. It's
Yeah.
that stuff
So
can be quite annoying.
I was talking about the moving train scenes. So once you start doing those, you might start getting tired of them because they do it, I don't know, 5 times, and it just feels like you're
Yeah,
doing the same thing. You're holding this gun on a turret, or maybe you're just using the guns on your body, and you're just fighting off those big rodents of unusual size the whole time. Um, I don't know,
yeah.
what was I gonna say? So let me complain some more. Um, I
Okay.
don't know. You've gotten to the spider parts, right?
I've seen the spiders. Yeah,
Okay. There will be repeated spider sections. Have you heard yet, like, where they're trying to build up the tension with this scary music and then nothing happens? That happened to me so many times in this game where it's like, they have that high pitched sound
yeah, yeah.
and then it's supposed to be timed to something scary happening and then nothing happens. Um,
Do you think that's just done on purpose or is it a bug?
I think it's a bug where they need to get the timing right of their music and like
Oh right.
but they kept playing it like in a loop where it goes like,
Oh, I see. Oh, I see.
you
So
know,
you're not triggering what they want until, so it'll just keep
yeah,
playing until you trigger the
yeah,
thing.
they just kept playing it, and hopefully they fixed that. So when I was, let me see in my list I'm looking at here. So when spiders would jump on your face, and sometimes I would have a mask on, like with a filter, and I'm trying to rip the spider off my face, but I end up ripping the mask off. Um, let's see. I already talked last time about it's so dark and you have to use a flashlight all the time. And you have to charge. That's my big complaint with this game, that I have to keep charging the flashlight. And
Yeah,
you're in an HMD that already gives you a restricted view, but then the flashlight, like in this video, you know, maybe you're in a dark area and that's all you can really see. It's like your field of view is just so limited
yeah.
that it's just
I
not.
feel like they point it down too much as well. Like if you're in a if you're in a vent, it
Hmm.
feels like it's pointing down to the floor, so you can't actually see down the vent because the flashlight. So then you end up kind of like having to tilt your head up a little bit and then look down towards the bottom of the lenses to see where you're going. I found that a little bit annoying.
Okay. I don't think I wonder if it depends on your headset
Maybe
because
for me, it felt like it was pointing down a little bit too much.
you're using a PSVR 2.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm in a Quest 3, so maybe it's different. I don't know. Um, all the drawers in the game were non-interactable. So like most games, like Arizona Sunshine games, you could pull drawers and get loot and stuff. Not in this game. There are lockers that you can get stuff out of. I can't remember if there's any other. Maybe just like maybe there'll be a like
like lock boxes and
a
stuff that you
cabinet.
can pick up.
Okay.
But you end up picking up a lot of like in this game. You don't pick up full magazines. You're picking up like a few bullets, and then
Yeah.
you to make up a magazine. And I found that I did like actually how you really have to scavenge because you like I had one moment where I literally ran out of bullets, and I literally I just had to run. Like I couldn't fight them anymore because I'd run out of bullets. So you can't just like go around shooting constantly. And even like if you kill guys, you can pick up the guns and then take the magazines out of the guns and then keep those magazines and stuff.
Yep.
But I really liked that side of things, like the way that you're kind of like scavenging off of dead bodies and things. I thought that was quite cool.
Definitely. I had never played a Metro game before, but this game has a bunch of like reincarnation stuff in it and like ghosts and stuff, and I don't really like that stuff. Like that the okay, so the ending of the game, I won't say what it was, but it really put me off.
Right.
But if that type of thing doesn't bother you, you know, if you believe
Yeah,
in
I don't know.
ghosts and all of that stuff, maybe. Okay, so here, like, so this game. So if I went into a game that I know is some sort of haunted, spooky shit with ghosts and shit, I don't care. Fine. Like, it doesn't bother me. But this game is like kind of realistic, trying to be realistic at least. And then they start
Yeah,
putting in all this, what to me is a bunch of kooky shit. I get like annoyed. But
yeah.
you would go into this game expecting that already because you've played Metro games, right?
I played the Last Light, but I never finished it. I mean, the game's got like radioactive monsters and stuff. Are you talking about literally
Radioactive
ghosts? And...
monsters, that makes sense to me. So like, yeah, maybe there's a fucking nuclear disaster and the monsters have become mutants. I can buy all that. I can't buy
Yeah,
ghosts. I can't buy
right.
that shit. And that's what this game
No,
has.
right.
Um, so I don't know if that would that annoy you?
No, I mean I don't care that much. I mean it's
Okay.
just yeah, it doesn't really annoy me.
Okay.
But
It depends on the type of game. You know, like affected the manner. I'm perfectly fine with ghosts in that game. And whatever other, okay, like Resident Evil games, they're absurd. The shit that happens in those games, and it doesn't bother me. I guess
yeah,
I go into those games expecting it to be absurd. I just didn't know what I was getting myself into with this game. Um, I don't know. You'd have to play it more and get to the ending, and then I'd like to hear what you think. It,
yeah, I'll definitely finish this. I mean I'm gonna finish all the games I've started because they're all good games. Just finding the
okay.
time and like the need to go into them. But yeah, I think Metro's good. I think Metro. I think all these games. I know we complain a lot because
Mm-hmm.
we're just miserable bastards. But I do think that these games are good. Like we've had a good year for games. Like overall, I do think that these four games that have released, Alien, Metro, Batman, and obviously you disagree with me, but Behemoth, I think are
mm-hmm.
all good, solid games. And we've had, even though they're not the best games overall, they're still like when you think about what we normally get each year, like to get four of this type of game, like this sort of quality, I think it's really, really, really good.
Okay, so I said 5 for Behemoth. I've been thinking this whole time, even when I was playing it too. I've been thinking 6
Okay,
for Metro, and that's with my scale where 5 is average.
okay,
Um, I mean,
I respect that.
yeah, I don't know. So next is the House of Da Vinci VR. You played this a lot more than I
Yeah,
have. Let me. I'm gonna take this video back a little bit. What?
need to be
So this
careful of
is.
spoilers with this.
Oh yeah. So this. I was really impressed with the graphics when it first came in. So I was like, "Whoa! Imagine if you were playing an Assassin's Creed that looked like this in VR."
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
You know
But
who doesn't think it looks good?
who?
Rune,
Oh really? That doesn't
because
surprise
it's not
me.
got dynamic shadows.
Oh my god.
He keeps banging. He's on the discussion on the Steam things, banging on about dynamic shadows and how it's a
Yeah.
Quest port, and there's just like the game looks great. I don't know
It
what the
doesn't.
fuck you guys
This
talking
doesn't
about.
look like Quest at all.
No, it's just that it's because it's not got dynamic shadows. He's obsessed with dynamic shadows. So.
I've seen him say in reviews, "This game is great because it has dynamic shadows." And when I play like some certain games, I'm like, I don't see any. Like I didn't see dynamic shadows in Behemoth ever. But he, in
I
his
mean, I
review,
don't really
he's
look
all
for them. You know what I
I
mean? Yeah.
like.
It's
Well, in
just
Batman, I saw it, but I never noticed any shit like that in
yeah, and
Behemoth.
that's a Quest game. That's literally a Quest game. So shut the
Yeah,
fuck up, dude.
yeah. Uh, so this looks great. It's a lot like the Room VR Dark Matter. I don't remember. Does did this though has a time rewinding mechanic? I don't think the Room had that. Did it?
No, the room had the monocle things where you can
Yeah,
change like the lighting, and this has a similar type of thing to that.
yeah.
I mean, it really is very much just like another version of the room, but in VR. It's like you poking and prodding things, you're moving things with your hands, you're twisting, you're combining things. it's a really good puzzle game. I really like these sort of puzzle games where they're very tactile. You're just constantly doing things with your hands. You have little things where you've got to try and solve things and put things in a different order. And yeah, I think they've just done a really good job with the port. I think it's really well made. Looks great. It plays exactly the same as the Room VR as well, where you're like it's teleport only, but you just teleport to these like nodes. And I've seen people say they're not going to play it because of that reason, but it just makes sense for how the game is. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't make sense for you to just walk around because you wouldn't have a clue where you need to go.
Yeah.
Um,
And I wonder if some of the
so I,
environments look too good. Like if you walked around, it would cause a reprojection for a lot of people.
I mean, I think
I
it
don't know.
might be as well. Like they've probably not rendered a lot of stuff because, like, obviously they
Yeah,
have fixed camera points. So
yeah, that's
if
true.
you could walk anywhere, there'd be places where they've not even got stuff like rendered or like details where you can see low
Yeah,
resolution textures and stuff. I don't mind it because it works for this type of game. Obviously, if it was like an action game, I would have never touch a game with teleport. But because puzzle games, it's just a puzzle game. The whole point is you go into these different places and you have to solve puzzles. So to me, it doesn't really matter that much if you just teleport to these preset locations, versus you just being able to walk around.
um what was I gonna ask? I played this for an hour, and I got to this war board game thing, and I didn't know what the game wanted me to do, and I haven't played since. I got
Oh yeah,
there's multiple
done
waves
that.
of this war board game you have to do, and I it was basically the numbers have to add up in a certain way, and
Yeah, I couldn't quite figure out how it worked
yeah.
because you were basically trying to conquer Europe. So you were moving these pieces. Like you would take your piece, and then your number of units had to be higher than the number of units in the place you were trying to capture.
Mhm.
So then you would have to like move your piece over to there, and then that would increase your amount. And then, well, sometimes it would decrease the amount that you had. I couldn't quite figure out how it worked, but
Yeah.
I did manage to get through it by just like trial and error, I guess, in a way. But
Yeah, that's what I was
yeah.
trying. I'd have to go back and do more trial and error on that one. Um, I thought there was something else I was gonna say. Oh, yeah, I remember now. This was snap turn only, but I think I saw an update from the dev where they changed it to where you can do
Yeah,
smooth turn now.
yeah,
That's
they've added
important.
that.
I hate snap turn. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, I just physically turned, but yeah, if I had to use snap turn, not smooth turn, then that would be annoying.
I
I agree.
normally do physical turn, but in a game like this where you don't have to, you're not fighting and shit, I would, I don't want to stand up the whole time personally. So you're
I
just
just found
staying.
sometimes you had to move in your space because,
Oh,
because
okay.
obviously it's like a node-based thing. There were times where I felt like I needed to literally physically move in my
Okay.
room to reach things, so it just made
Okay.
sense to stand up on this one.
Okay. I'll get maybe there's some video inside. Yeah, this is one of the first rooms.
Yeah, it's a really good-looking game. I think it plays really nice. If you like puzzle games, especially if you liked The Room, A Dark Matter, then this is like essential. Really, it's just get it. You're gonna love it.
And what is it, $20?
Something like that. It's not
Yeah.
expensive. I think it's
Yeah.
like 4 hours long or something. So not a really long game, but it's about the same as A Dark Matter. So it's a good game. I liked it. One of
Okay.
my favorite puzzle game from the year.
Yeah. All right. Your next game is Lego Bricktales, which I've never played.
Yeah, this was one I'd had. I am interested in some of these like MR things. Just like I don't know.
So
I'm
you
trying to
played it? You
find.
played it in MR? Because you can do VR or
No,
MR. Oh.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. I bought it thinking it was MR only, and if it started off in VR. And one thing that really, really massively impressed me with this was that, like, visually, the graphics are really impressive. Like some of the best I've seen in a Quest. I couldn't believe how good they looked. Like the sharpness of everything, but also like the lighting. It's like got actual dynamic lighting where Room would like this, even though it's a Quest game. But it's just like it just looks real. Like it looks like there's actual Lego pieces in front of you, but with the way that the lighting is done and the way that the reflections of the pieces of plastic, and it looks incredible. Honestly, it's really really impressive. But if you change to MR mode, the resolution drops like significantly, which I found really odd
Oh,
because I was expecting to play it in MR. But if you play it in MR mode, because I think MR mode is like mixed reality is more it requires more processor
yeah.
power. They drop the resolution down like a lot. It's really shimmery. So I've just been playing it in VR mode.
What about
And it
Quest
looks
Games
really nice.
Optimizer? You could use Quest Games Optimizer to put it up, the
You
resolution.
probably could. I mean, I'm not tried it because, like I say, it looks so good in VR anyway. Like I'm just like, well, fine, I'll just play it in VR. It's not that big of a deal because in VR, it's the same thing, but the background rather than being in your room, it's just
It's that
like
on the video.
a
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like a blank kind of like skybox almost.
Uh-huh.
And the thing is, it's like with the MR stuff, unless you're in a really well lit room that's properly lit, the MR kind of looks a bit grainy anyway. Like like your room doesn't look like it's actually sat in your room. You kind of it looks like you've
Yeah.
got like these graphics superimposed on top of a screen with bad quality cameras almost. It's not
Yeah.
that great, in my
It never
opinion.
looks as good as the videos. Like this video right here, that MR video feed looks a lot better than it would in real life.
Yeah, the MR stuff, like when you see it recorded, it makes it look like really impressive. Like, oh wow, it looks like you've got to have stuff in your room, but it doesn't because it looks like you're looking at your room through cameras, and then you've got the things super. I mean, MR is interesting, but the quality of the camera needs to be a lot better for it to feel, or like what they're trying to do, where they have like these augmented things where you're literally looking at your actual room, you're not looking through a screen, and then things like augmented into your room. I think that would look probably the best if they can do that, but that's really hard to do. So, but yeah, I mean, the game itself is. I mean, you probably would hate it because the first like 20 minutes are just all dialogue. You're literally reading loads of stuff,
Uh,
walking around, doing some really basic shit. But once you get into the meat of the game, it has got like a cool little story, and then they've got like you're seeing on the screen now. You basically have these little challenges. So you'll walk up to like there'll be a set of stairs, and you need to build the stairs. So you like it then transports you into this little building place, and you'll have a certain set of bricks that you can use, and you can then build the stairs. But there's like loads of bridge building and stuff where you've got to build a bridge. The bridge has got to be like structurally sound. So that if you'll have this little robot and you press a button, and if he tries to go across the bridge and the bridge is not strong enough, it'll just fall down and
hmm.
break. So you've got to like really build these bridges and like make sure they're strong enough and they're engineered right. And like there's just loads of little cool things like that, which I found it really quite fun actually.
There's an actual
Um,
challenge.
yeah,
Wow.
the first bridge, it took me ages to do it. I was like, I felt really stupid because I was like, this is the first one, and I'm struggling a lot to do this because they give
Hmm.
you way more bricks than you need, but you've got to really like make sure that it's structural. Like it has to be structurally good to like. You can't just slap a few bricks on there and expect it to work. You've got to really make sure that it's got supports and stuff. And yeah,
Hmm.
I think it's really like, yeah, you can see on the video is having to build a bridge. So then you have
Yeah.
to like put bricks on top of bricks underneath bricks, reinforce like make sure. But you've only got a certain number of bricks you can use, so you've got to
Hmm.
like re-engineer. Like that's shit. That's gonna fall.
So
There you
it's
go.
like
That fell down.
that bridge simulator game that probably already came out for Quest 3 that we haven't played.
Yeah, I want to play that as well. But it's
Hmm.
like that. I mean, there's obviously bridges. See, he made me look like stupid. He did it really quickly, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bridges and stuff, but there's also like staircases and like there's one bit where you have to build like uh, a helicopter. There's like loads of cool stuff that you have to build and then you have to build those to progress forward in the map, the overall map, and to progress the story. Yeah, it's really good. I really like it. If you like the sort of like brick building and Lego and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
then it's really essential. It's a shame they've not brought it to PC because it's got a VR mode, so they could easily do it on PC, but it's a Quest exclusive.
My daughter, almost all she asked for Christmas is Legos. So I've been building lots of Legos with her and having, like having to correct her a lot because, she doesn't follow the
Yeah,
instructions properly. I'm a little tired of
yeah,
Legos right now.
yeah.
Mm,
You might want to wait then. I bought it on a sale because it was on like a Black Friday sale for £15, which I thought was alright. It's
okay.
quite a long game as well. I've been playing it for a few hours and still not finished it.
Hmm. All right. Anything else? What'd you say? No?
No, I mean, there's not much more
Mm.
to say.
Oh,
I
okay.
finished it. I think it's overall it's a good game. I think if you
Okay.
like Legos building stuff, then just get it.
Okay. I'll go to Action Hero. So this is right now, it's a Quest exclusive. I don't know. I assume it'll probably come out to other platforms. I got a free key for this, so thank you. I think it's Fast Travel Games. I think. So it's super hot with better graphics, better music, better themes, and somewhat of a story. So if you like super hot, this is a no-brainer. This isn't my video, it's
It's
somebody
like a
else's
win.
video. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
to me, that's like a win. Like I love Super Hot, so
yeah. Yeah, and there was never a super hot sequel. Everybody thought there would be. And there are other games that have tried to copy this formula, like Super Cold and
just
what was it called?
say
Like
it.
Predilection of Death or whatever that weird game was.
Oh yeah, I remember with the bow and arrow. I can't
Yeah, with the
remember
bow
what
and
it's
arrow, and none of them did it right. And this game does it right. It's just like Super Hot.
called.
You stay still and they move slowly. You move and they move, and then you
Yeah,
get all sorts of different weapons.
I'm surprised
But
it's taken this long for someone to make another Super Hot type game because
yeah,
I
no,
think maybe people feel like they can't just straight copy it. Like they've got to try and find a way to reinvent type of thing. But I mean, as far as I'm aware, there's no patent against this gameplay design. So
yeah,
people have been craving for a Super Hot sequel for years. So
yeah. So this
I
is
think the
like,
good thing about this as well is like it's movie themed. So each one, like well, you will able to say yourself, but each like it's like acts, different acts which go through different type of environments and stuff, which makes it cool.
also it's pretty damn hard. So just like Super Hot, if you get killed, you have to start over like at the beginning of that
Yeah,
act. So you might have to do 4 or 5 scenes, maybe that you've already done. So it's pretty hard. So yeah,
yeah,
this is
that's
like a Temple of
same
Doom
as Super
type,
Hot.
maybe, yeah, or not Temple of Doom, just Indiana Jones type, and then there are ones that are like heist type, and there's others. Sometimes Jurassic Park raptors will just come out of nowhere, like they'll just come out of nowhere in a scene where they don't even belong.
Right.
It's kind of like you're at a movie studio and like everything there is just kind of like mixed into one sometimes.
Yeah, it sounds
And
really cool. I do want to play this.
yeah, and there's leaderboards, and the main menu looks, it reminds me a lot of Pistol Whip, of how it looks. Like they have a different like kind of like poster looking thing for each different themed area.
Yeah,
There might be 6 different areas maybe. And I
yeah,
think they said they're gonna add more. I think
yeah,
maybe I got to the third and I haven't gone back yet. Oh
yeah.
yeah,
This
here's
is
a
a game I've got on my list to play, but I've not had a chance to buy it and play it yet.
Oh,
So
one other thing though about this game is you can't stand in one spot and play this game. You're definitely gonna need space. Like for example, this big
yeah,
giant ball, you have to actually physically move out of the way.
yeah,
There's no locomotion in this game. So if you're restricted on space, you're not really gonna be able to do this game.
Yeah, that's why a quest's good for this because you can literally take it to a room where you've got more
Yeah,
space. Oh, there's the
yeah,
raptors they've
yeah.
seen.
They're the Raptors. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I like this game a lot. I've
Yeah,
just have
I'm gonna buy this game.
I have too many fucking games.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I know.
Not enough time.
Yep. Okay, so I'll go to the next one. Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghostlord.
Oh
We played
no.
this together, and I was actually impressed by the intro. And
Yeah, I thought it looked good.
yeah, I'm I'm playing a video of somebody else playing the intro right now. And I probably okay, I think initially I start up a quest game just to see what it looks like default, and I was like, this looks pretty good. But I think I still restarted it with Quest Games Optimizer just to make it a little bit sharper. And I was thinking while I was going through this whole intro where it was teaching the game mechanics, I was thinking they really should have made a single player game out of this. I think they,
Yeah,
because really this game is just multiplayer, going, fighting ghosts, and then you go back to the hub, which is like the Ghostbusters, what their station.
the station. Yeah, it's like a very
Yeah,
grindy game where you're just
yeah,
like collecting XP to upgrade stuff and just repeat
yeah.
over and over again.
So Alex and I both had to go through this intro part before we could, do a multiplayer level together. And when we first got put into the multiplayer shit, we're both listening to little kids screaming. So then we
Yeah,
had to figure out how to get out of those rooms and get with each other. I don't remember how we did that. Um,
yeah. I can't
what?
remember what we did. Like create a private room or something, and then set up our own host our own game or something.
Yeah. So the video on YouTube, this is still the intro part, teaching you how to play. It takes quite a while.
Yeah.
And
The
oh, and
problem is
then
that the rest of the game looks kind of bad. Like the intro level looks pretty good,
yeah.
but some of the levels look really like you can tell that it's been made for the quest, like Quest 2 specifically, because they just look really empty and yeah, not good.
So maybe they're in a level here. I don't remember if this is part of the intro too.
That's the intro, yeah.
Oh, that's intro also. Okay.
Yeah.
So then here's where they're in a. Oh no, they're doing some sort of. I guess there's like
Gallery
a
thing
shooting
maybe.
gallery type of level. I think now they're in an actual level.
Yeah, they're in basically one of the levels, and once you get to the meat of the game, it's just it doesn't look that good, and the gameplay loop overall is just really a bit boring. Because you basically just there's some ghosts where you can just blast them with like your what do you call it, your proton pack,
Yeah.
um, and then there's some where you've got to capture them, where you've got to like just throw down the what do you call it,
The trap.
the trap, but you don't even throw it. You literally just aim it like you aim, and then there's just like a thing that tells you where it's gonna go. You pull the trigger. You don't like throw it, which I thought was a little bit shit. Like they could have made it so you had to like just throw your hand forward to slide it on the floor or something. Could have been
Yeah.
better.
It's sort of like the
And yeah,
grenades. The grenades in some games just have an arc, and you don't actually get to
yeah,
throw the grenade.
yeah. And then it's
Yeah.
just like tethering onto a ghost, and then you have to weaken them, and then you have to pull them in different directions, and then you get them over the trap, and then you suck it into the trap, and just do that basically over and over again. That's pretty much the game.
This type of level they're playing might be different. This is I think this is I once you left, I played one more level and I played something called Harvester. I think that thing in the middle is the Harvester, and there are items around the level that you have to find to like build or to fix the Harvester. I thought that was a
Right.
little bit more interesting than these levels where you just shoot the ghosts.
Yeah.
Because then you had to use the Harvester for some reason to catch the ghosts. And I got to fight some different types of ghosts, like some bigger ghosts. Like there was a ghost that had like a cannon that he was shooting at me and shit. So
Right.
at least there's some variety. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. when we're in the lobbies, only kids are playing this game, which just tells me
Yeah.
a lot personally. Like this is a kids game.
Yeah.
I feel like it's got that much depth. It's a game that kids are gonna like. Oh, I'm killing ghosts. I'm getting Ghostbuster. You know, they're going around like, hey, come on, get into the car and play Ghostbusters. And yeah, it's just not interesting to me at all. I didn't find it particularly that much fun. It got
I
boring pretty quick.
I think the only actual Ghostbusters is DLC. There's no actual Ghostbuster from the original movies in this game unless you pay money.
Yeah,
And you can get Slimer if you pay money. And maybe it was Dan
I think they
Aykroyd.
don't.
Maybe it was Winston. I can't remember which one you could
It was
get.
Dan Aykroyd, but
It
yeah,
was Dan Aykroyd.
I think it is just like a few different environments with a few different game modes, and you just like go through. You can just like go through the same. What is it like 4 or 5 different environments and do the
Yeah.
different game modes, and you're basically doing the same thing, slight twists, and yeah. Mm, we paid like £4 for it
Oh
for
yeah, it was on
I think we
sale.
got
Yeah.
full. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have paid full price for it.
Yeah. All right. Want to go next game?
Yeah,
Okay. Into Black. I heard a lot about this game, and I was really impressed by it. So you're going through caves and you're mining, and you have like a laser that you can mine with, or you can go up to crystals and stuff and hit them with an axe. So it's actually a lot like Subnautica, which I love. And then there are some levels that feel kind of like Outer Wilds, which I love insanely. Then it's also like Valheim, another game I love. It's not anywhere near as complex or as difficult as Valheim, but there's a lot of something that you don't like, crafting. So
yeah.
you collect lots of shit in these levels, and then when you get back to your ship, you can craft different upgrades and different items and stuff. So you just explore, and sometimes these enemies that are like bugs, they either fly at you and attack you, or they're crawling around. And I just love exploring, and the movement's really great. You can move. I put the movement speed up to the max, and I'm triple jumping around. I got an upgrade to triple jump, and so I'm just triple jumping around. Oh, and I also got a jetpack. So a game like this, the movement I love. It's such a huge departure. So like I played this game first, and then I played Behemoth, and I'm like, oh my god, I feel like I'm stuck in molasses in Behemoth.
Yeah,
So maybe that's part of the problem.
probably. Yeah, yeah.
And it has a story and voice acting, and I mean, I just really recommend it. I could see it getting boring to some people because it's just kind of a lot of the same. It might feel like a lot of the same cave, but it does change. It does change up the look of it, and sometimes you go through water. Like sometimes it's a cave full of water with different enemies in there and different types of stuff to see. Here's a wire puzzle that you come across a lot. The puzzle's really easy. Like for example, the wire
Yeah.
puzzles in Alien Rogue Incursion are way harder. These ones are for children basically. And
Yeah.
on the door of those puzzles, it says resist, which is another game I'm going to get to. So these devs, this is the binary mill. They also made resist. And that actually, I think seeing resist on that panel is what encouraged me to buy it after playing this
It
game.
worked. Yeah.
Huh?
It worked. They
Yeah,
advertised
it
their
did work.
game, but then
It also worked that resist was on sale for like $5. That helped too.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, like you can play co-op in this. I haven't played it co-op yet. I've only played it alone. Playing it alone is fine with me. Um, I don't know what else there's to say about it. If you like Subnautica and those types of games, you would definitely like this. So I'm not the Outer Wild stuff that I'm talking about. So like there's some places where you're in outer space, and I don't fully understand yet what's going on there. But aliens, so there's aliens and alien technology in this.
Right.
Um, so it's a little out there. So,
Yeah, I've heard good reviews about it. I've heard people say it's good. I need to check it out with you.
yeah.
It's probably a game I would never play by myself, but if it's co-op, then that would definitely encourage me. Like I do love games where you're exploring. I just don't like. I loved Valheim, even though it was really grindy, because it's just like this really cool exploration type game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it feels like you're on these alien planets, and you've got trolls and stuff you're fighting, and it's just like a real big adventure. So as long as there's bigger, like the environments are interesting enough, and the enemies are interesting enough, and the gameplay is fun, I can kind of get along with some grindy stuff, but I just can't handle like ultra grind. And if you're playing stuff co-op, usually that helps as well because you can like share the grind between you,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
which is good.
Okay. I guess that's it on Into Black. Now we'll go to Stranger Things VR, which you played, but I have not played because I've heard too many bad things about it.
Yeah, I played it and refunded it. I played like I don't know an hour, and I actually when I first played it, I was really impressed because it looks really really good in the headset.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts off with this really cool like story. Obviously, the if you've not seen, this is a game you have to have watched the series to enjoy because it's literally like an extension of the series. I've watched the series, so I enjoyed that part of it. But you're playing Vecna, who was like the main bad guy in the last season. It's kind of giving a bit of a backstory to you about how you became so evil and mad, and like what happened to your family and stuff. But yeah, it starts off really cool. Like you're in these cool environments, and it's teaching you how to do your powers. Like you can telekinesisly grab things and pull them towards you. Then you can like throw them away from you by like thrusting your hand forward, and it'll throw the object away like a force push. And you can literally like send out these vines from your hands, and then grab hold of part of the world, and then like throw yourself up into the air or climb quickly and like throw yourself around. So like the movement and the powers and everything is really fun. The problem is that that's basically all the game is, and once you get to the main game, you're just in these like red environments, and you just kind of just going through the same cycle over and over again, where you just kind of climbing up these like floating things, and then you kill a few of these what are they called, demogorgons or what, I can't remember what they're called. And
Yeah,
then you go into the
Demogorgon.
yeah, and then you go inside the mind, and then you'll have like a little maze that you've got to go through to control the demogorgon, and then you just keep doing that over and over again, basically. And then I looked online to see like the reviews to see if it gets better and if it like diversifies a bit, and apparently that's basically the entire game.
Hmm.
So I just said, okay, well I've seen the game then, so I just refunded it,
What is it? What did it cost?
which is a shame. I don't know, was it $20, $15, something like that.
Mm.
Like, it's not massively expensive, and like I say, the first 30-40 minutes are really fun because obviously everything's new and you're learning all the abilities and the environments look cool. And I really liked like the art style and everything in this game. I thought it looked really good. But then like what you're seeing on the screen now is basically the game. You get these vines, you throw yourself up around, and it looks the same all the time. And
Mm.
then there'll just be bits of story. I just find myself not really caring that much about the story with this guy. So and obviously I've got so much stuff to play. I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna get a refund on this, and I did.
Okay. I like Stranger Things, but I don't know if I like Stranger Things enough. Do you have to
Yeah,
be? Would
I
you
mean
have to be?
it's one of those games where you would enjoy it to start with, but I think like me, you would just get old, gets old pretty quickly.
Hmm. Okay.
Maybe play it and refund it. I don't know.
Yeah,
You
I
could
don't know.
probably play it for 30 minutes, try it out, see what you think, and then refund it if you don't like it. But
I gotta beat all my other games first. Maybe then.
yeah,
All right, we'll go to the next one, which is special to you. Trombone
Oh,
Chump
yeah.
Unflattened.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very
Uh,
special.
yeah. So I played. So Raikou Parta did a demo, a mod of this game, of the flat game. I don't know, years ago, and I wasn't impressed by it. Like I remember Alex saying he liked it, but I just like didn't get it. So I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting to like this, but I liked it a lot more, way more than I expected. So you did a good job.
Yeah, it was good. It's a good game. I've played lots and lots of this game. I've played so much of this game from testing it, but
You're sick of it,
yeah,
I'm
it's
sure.
yeah, I mean pretty much, but I think it's one of those games that you can play. Luckily, it's a game you can play over and over again and still enjoy it because it's just the type of game it is. Um, and yeah, I think it's a. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I think it's a really good game. I think it's really fun. It's like a rhythm game, but rather, like most rhythm games where you have to hit something to a certain the time of the beat, and it don't really affect the music. It does in a way, but not really. The music's still gonna play regardless. Whereas this, you literally you're basically playing an instrument, which I like. If you miss a note, it sounds like you missed a note, and I think that makes the big difference with this over pretty much every other rhythm game out there.
I paused it here. This is the tutorial. Why does it say hold
Yeah,
A to toot? I brought this up to
you can
you.
use A.
Yeah, but you can also use trigger. So why doesn't it
Yeah,
say that?
because most people found that because you've got trigger, you've got you obviously you've got the length of the trigger, like it's not an on and off button.
Uh huh.
Most people find that it's you can't do the buttons fast enough to be able to do like if you've got a
Oh,
quick
really?
few
Ah,
notes, if you've got notes in a few like few in a succession,
yeah.
trying to do that quickly with the trigger is really hard compared to just pressing the A button. So that's why we
Okay.
defaulted it to. You can use the trigger, you can use the B button, but we found most people prefer to use the A buttons.
I didn't like the way using A felt for some reason, so I was using trigger. But okay, if you're gonna be a pro
Yeah,
level, if you're gonna be a pro level, you want to use the A button.
and you can alternate. Some people alternate like between, so you could like press the trigger and then immediately press the A button and then back to the trigger again. So you're not just constantly pressing the same button. You don't have to just press the same button over and over. It's like the pros like will literally alternate A and B and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That was a really cool part. You do the tutorial and they help me. You hold the note, and then the curtains open, and it's yay, trombone champ. I like that part.
Well, do you know who came up with that idea?
I think probably you.
Well,
Yeah,
we already had the intro thing in there, but I came up with the idea of holding the note and
nice.
the thing
You
dropping
need a
down.
raise. You need a big bonus.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, you have to look on the left and the right. So does it always go left and right, then left and right, then, or is that how it always goes? Does it?
I think it always. No, I think it can start on the right hand side sometimes. But you can do. We designed it so there's two walls so that the notes like go from one side to the other. Because we found if you just got one wall, it kind of gets boring where you're just staring at one point all the time. Whereas if you've got two walls, you find yourself moving a bit more, and you're looking from side to side, so you're not like it's not as fatiguing. But you can have just one wall. Like there's a classic mode which has just single wall. Some people do that because it's easy. It's actually easier with the classic mode because you've only got one wall. So if you're just chasing high scores, you might want to switch to the single wall mode.
Ah, that would be easier. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, I did a lot of songs in this. I haven't come close to doing all the songs though, but I noticed yeah, your scores were up near the top, but Fluke's were almost always at the very top.
You were playing on Steam. Like if my top scores are on the Quest
I was
version.
on Steam. I'm not gonna play the Quest version. No. Yeah.
You sure you don't want to buy it again?
No, I don't
Playing the
want to buy it
Quest.
again. You don't
All my
maybe if you got paid residuals, but you don't. So
all the high scores. You want to beat my high scores?
oh
And
I don't
Fluke's high scores are on there
no
as well.
I want to beat your shitty high scores on Steam.
Okay.
Not your good
Okay.
high scores.
Maybe I need to go back to Steam and get some
Oh shit!
scores for you to beat.
I'm never gonna beat your scores. That's just not gonna happen. Just like
Have you not done?
you're never gonna beat my scores in Compound. I'm never gonna beat your scores in this. Um,
True.
yeah, I
True.
don't think so. It's not gonna happen. I did. Oh, I did go back in the game and I bought a bunch of trombones because you were. I was saying, why aren't there different sounds? And you said you just need different trombones. Oh, so yeah, I bought a bunch of trombones. One thing, I was like, why do I have to keep? Why do I have to keep paying to get 4 cards? Then pay to get 4 more cards. Then I have to pay again to get 4 more cards. Why can't I just be like, hey, give me all the cards I can afford? Tell me that.
Yeah, that's something we've already been looking into because testers and myself found that it's like quite tedious, constantly
Yeah,
having to like because you can get a lot of toots, you can buy a lot of cards, so then having to like just open a pack of cards, open another pack of cards, open it just gets really
yeah.
repetitive.
Yeah, I let the toot count because I'm always full of toots. I let it get really high, and then I went in like, yeah, I had to buy, I don't know, 20 times in a row, at least.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad you're working on that.
yeah, that is something we've it's on our list.
Okay. Anything else about Trombone Champ?
There's I don't know if you've been back in, but there's like a holiday update we've just done, which has got a bunch of Christmas songs you can play, and
Is that temporary?
I think the Christmas stuff is temporary. So if you want to play them, you probably want to get in there before
Mm.
you get taken out. But then there's also it's not out yet, but every day basically every every now and then, like up until I think it's the 31st, there's new content dropping. Like if you go in the game, there'll be new content dropping almost every day.
Hmm.
And the final day there'll be another pack of songs, and they're like the hardest songs in the game. Like they're really really hard. So if you're listening flute, you've got more challenge coming.
Hmm. Are there songs that you have to pay the copyright holders for?
Not with the stuff that we've got in because the stuff we're using is just what's already in the game.
Uh-huh.
Um, and the guy who made the original game made sure to find songs that weren't copyright or
Uh-huh.
they were songs that he could pay that weren't really expensive and didn't have to keep paying license fees and stuff for. But we have, I mean, I can't say, but let's just say there's going to be DLC coming, which
Mm.
will be for like per licensed stuff coming at some point in the future.
You heard it here first, folks. Okay. You want to
Yeah,
go to the next
there's
one?
going to be more stuff coming. Yeah,
Okay. Thrill of the Fight 2. I bought this. I think what is it? It might be $10. This is somebody else's video, not mine. Their mixed reality video. I played it in mixed reality. So my neighbor's daughter, she tried my VR, my Quest 3. I put her in like Half-Life Alyx and some other stuff. Then she went out and bought a Quest 3. So she's playing
yep,
Quest 3 all the time now. So I've played Walkabout mini golf with her, and I played Thrill of the Fight with her.
yeah,
So she was in her house, I was in my house, and I did mixed reality, and it was pretty fun. You get really sweaty. So I took
yeah.
off my the facial interface because I have a Bobo VR, you know,
Oh yeah,
M2 Pro strap. Look at these people just going just flailing on each other. We did a lot of that. So the first match she won. Then the second match I won. Then on the last match, I said, "Hey, let's check on this." There was like this experimental physics option. I checked it, and then I just kept knocking her down. And I was like, "I like this.
right,
I like this setting.
yeah,
This is more realistic because she just kept getting her ass knocked down to the ground." And I won that match, so we're even right now.
right.
Um, so we were getting so hot. She said,
Because the way the legs move.
"What?
Hmm.
Say that
The
again."
way the little legs move.
Oh
I
yeah,
was just looking at the character.
and a lot of times the arms look really stupid. They'll look all wacky. They need to work on the physics like of when you're not punching. Anyway, so you can also have, you don't have to do MR. You could also have like a ring. So we tried that too. We fought in a ring and all that. And oh, and there's a ring where there's a crowd.
Yeah,
It's in early access still. It's not like a full release, but it was.
yeah.
I mean, it worked fine. Um, but we were both getting so hot that we had to keep taking our clothes off. And it's funny. So she told me she got basically naked. I was like, "Do you even have a bra
How
on?"
old is she?
She's 30.
Oh,
She's
okay.
30.
Fucking
She's
hell.
30 with kids. Like she has, kids. So I know her because my kid plays with her kids.
Okay, that's
So
fine. Just
yeah.
checking how old she.
Oh, you thought I was playing with a teenager or something?
You said you've daughter. The thing's daughter bought
Yeah,
it, so I was.
my neighbor's daughter. But my neighbors are
Oh,
old. They're retired people.
oh, okay.
I
That's
live
fine.
around a bunch
When
of
you
old
said
people.
daughter,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I was
live around
like,
a bunch
your
of old
neighbor's
people.
daughter. Yeah.
Yeah. So she took all of her clothes off. I was like, "You have a bra on?" She's like, "No." I'm. She's just totally swinging, going nuts, totally naked. I'm nearly naked, and then you should have listened. I should have done a video of it, but she's swinging at me with all her might, going, "Ah, ah," and I'm going, "Uh, uh." So I was like, well, I mean, we might as well just have sex. I mean, this is basically what's going on here. It
Pretty
was
much, yeah.
hilarious. I was laughing the whole time. I mean, it was so funny. Just the absurdity of what was happening. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. So that's about it for.
So if you want to box people in mixed reality, then
Yeah, you can
throw
box.
the
Yeah,
fight. To.
I yeah, I haven't tried. I haven't tried it, but you can fight randoms. She's the only person I
Yeah.
fought. So if you get it, we can fight. It's only $10.
Yeah. I haven't really got space, and I'd have to go into another room, but
Oh, okay.
and I'm not going to take my clothes off. So
Ah, well, there's no point then.
no.
That's what I wanted. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Halo VR mod. This is my video. You've probably heard about this. There's a mod now where you can play the 2003 PC version of Halo in VR with motion controls. And let's see. One thing I noticed though was there was no haptics. I don't know if I did something wrong or if that's just how it is, but yeah, I didn't notice any haptics in the controllers, or if that's something that can be added. I'd never played Halo in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm still curious to see.
What do you think?
It was okay. I prefer
It's
Half
old.
Life. Yeah, I prefer Half
Yeah.
Life. The graphics don't bother me. I don't care about that. Um, I'm perfectly fine with these old ass graphics. So I'm just gonna fast forward through this because this is like intro stuff. Oh, and
Yeah.
then here, all hell breaks loose, and now the aliens are invading, and I'm just trying to learn how to control the damn thing.
Yeah.
And I don't have I don't have a gun yet, so I'm just running. Um, so here are the aliens, and I don't know. Well, I don't have much to say about it. Let's see. Oh, I learned what Cortana came from. Cortana came from Halo. Did you ever know that?
Yeah. She's like your AI
Yeah,
companion in this
I
game.
never knew that. So you've played Halo?
I played Halo 1, 2, and 3. I've not played the others,
Oh
but
wow. Okay. Yeah, let me see if I can
yeah,
find
I
there.
want them.
I'm
So
looking at
there's a
Cortana's ass. You see that? I'm looking at Cortana's ass right there.
well,
That's
it doesn't surprise me.
yeah,
But yeah,
exactly.
there's three. They remade them. Like there's remakes of them, but there's no mod for the remakes, unfortunately. And they've got co-op. I think the first one doesn't have co-op. But I think the second and the third one have co-op as well, so you can play through the entire game
Uh,
co-op. Which
the first one does have co-op because I had roommates that
oh,
had an
does it?
Xbox. In college, I had roommates that had an Xbox, and they were playing it co-op together.
Oh, see that
Yeah,
I would love like if they did the Master Collection, if we could play that in VR,
yeah.
because obviously that's got much better graphics and play them in co-op. That would be like amazing. Because they are good games. I like them. They're not the best. I think they get over. I think they're overrated. I think people love these games a bit too much, but they're still good games. I like them.
Like they get all into the story or something. Like, is there something great about the story?
I don't really know because I find the enemies quite spongy and like I don't know. Some of the like these little guys that run around they look a bit goofy, but
Yeah.
it's not a bad game. Like I think a lot of it's like the open world of it because it is quite open in places, and you get to drive around in like a buggy, and you can fly around in one of the games and stuff. And
Yeah, a lot of the enemies are
yeah,
like, ah! They're like
yeah,
little nerd aliens, and I'm like, why are you sending these little
yeah,
nerd guys to
like
fight?
little dwarfs or something, aren't they? Yeah, they're weird,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think it would be cool to play if they did the remasters. But I don't think I'd want to play this old ass version of it myself.
Okay, so I did get outside. Um, there you go. So I'm out here, and I did get to what is it called, a warthog? I forgot the vehicle,
Yeah, the warthogs. Yeah,
and that was hard to control. Let me see. There, yeah. So, oh, there's another mod. There are other mods that you can add on top of this mod. Like there's called the movement mod, where I think that'll make it where you can do these warthogs in first person. But with this mod by itself, it was third person. I found it kind of weird to control,
yeah.
and I kind
I
of
think
got lost.
the guys done like a new mod for it where you can like wall run and
That's the
all
movement
sorts of
mod.
like
I think that's the movement
yeah.
mod, and it's by a different person though.
Is it different? I thought it was the same
I
developer.
I think okay, maybe it is. I don't know much about that. If it like,
But
why
yeah,
wouldn't he just include it in the original mod if
I don't
if it's
know. Maybe
if
it's
it's the
like
same
some
thing?
people want to play the original as it was, and some people
Oh,
might want to enhance it
okay,
with this like movement options. But
okay. Well, I didn't know where the hell to go. Oh, and I came to this tunnel, and then my warthog crashed, and I didn't realize that I needed to get back on the warthog. So I got in the yeah, it shakes all crazy there. I got back in, but I got on the passenger side, and I was like, oh, I can't do anything. So I guess that was,
right,
I
yeah.
thought it was like a scripted thing. So then I just,
Oh no.
yeah. Then I was walking through here, and I was like, oh, this looks like a warthog should go through here. Then I just quit the video. Okay, so I'll go to the next game. This is a driving game. EXOcars. Um.
Yeah. Still not tried this yet.
Oh, I thought I played it through your account. Oh, maybe I did, and you still haven't played it.
No, I own the game, but I've still not played it.
Uh, This is probably the worst racing game I've ever played in my life.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So I was eager to hear your thoughts because you like racing games. Uh,
Yeah, I heard that one of the big problems is that it's not really got much of a single player. Because the thing that you're doing, or whoever's playing this game's doing now, is that you're racing against other people, but they're kind of like asynchronous. You're just racing against other people's ghosts, and you can just drive through them. And there's not really like proper AI where you're racing against each other and you can collide and stuff, which puts me off a lot.
but it's the
Because
same
I want to
way
play multiplayer.
in single player. It's the same way. You go
Yeah, that's what I'm
through
saying.
the other
Yeah.
like no, I'm not going against other people. I'm going against the computer, and I'm driving through the computer too.
Yeah, but I think that the computer is actually just people's times. I don't think it's actually
Oh, it's not a
like
computer.
AI. Yeah, I think it's
Uh,
literally just other people's like times,
oh,
which
okay.
is what I've like. It's not really got a proper single play mode. And the tracks apparently there's because when the game was launched, it was like, oh, there's 20 something tracks, but really there's only 6 tracks, is it or something? And then it's just like, oh,
Day and
it's
night.
the same track, day, night,
Yeah.
reverse. So basically, there's virtually no content there. So.
Okay. The worst part of this game is the steering and the controls are horrible. So the most important thing for me in games is the controls. That's my problem
Yeah,
with Behemoth. The controls are trash in this game. You just can't steer your fucking buggy, and you slide all over the fucking place. This isn't my video because this person is doing a way better job than me.
yeah,
I was just going, it was like I was on ice. And I tried the motion controlled steering, and I also tried the right analog or left analog. I didn't try a steering like a physical steering wheel.
yeah. That's how
But
I
if
would play it. I was just really disappointed that it doesn't have like a proper full length single player thing. That's the main thing for me.
also it didn't look good.
Right.
Yeah, it it. I played it on PC and it did not look like a PC game at all.
Yeah, it's probably built for the Quest then.
Yeah. Okay, next.
Room will be annoyed.
Yeah, next game is Human Fall Flat VR. This is my video where we played together. We played yeah, 3 of us together. I don't know, can you do 4 people?
Yeah, four.
Okay.
You can do more than that in private like rooms and stuff. But
Okay. So this is Alex,
fours.
me, and Josh playing together. And we
Yeah.
talked about this last time. It's a great game. It's fun. I've never tried it by myself, but you said you tried the first person mod or whatever. Not mod. They did a experimental
Like
branch or
a
something.
beta, yeah. They're basically because everyone complained because it's third person, so they've
Yeah.
tried to do this like experimental branch of the game with first person, and I think it sucks personally.
Okay.
It's like really wobbly. Even with the camera stabilization, it's still quite wobbly. It's like Bone Lab, you know, where you try to grab something and your head's bobbling about and stuff,
Yeah.
and then like your arms aren't really like you would expect. Like if you moved your arm, the hand would be where your real life hand is, and you would like be able to just move your hands around. But it's not. It's like it feels almost like you've got these little stubby arms at the end of your hand. So you're like, it just didn't feel. I mean, I think it could be improved a lot if the developers put more time into it. The main problem would be like if they could get it so that it felt like your hands were actually just your hands and you were moving them around more.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, then it's kind of going against the whole physics thing of the game, where your hands are like you pick something up and your hands are obviously like, lagging down, and I just don't know if it would ever work. Like first person would ever work with this game.
Hmm.
I feel like just playing it third person like this, where you're using your hands and arms to move around and stuff, is the way to play it. I think personally.
Yeah, it felt fine to me. That this way, I never was like wishing I could play it first person really.
No, I mean the one thing I will say is it's cool to be in first person because like you obviously you fall down through the sky and then you can like see everything in like the scale of everything it feels better in first person. Um, so yeah, I was if they could improve it, I probably would try it again. Um, Overall, I'm still going to play it third person anyway because I think that's how the game was designed, and I think it's a great game. It's got loads of content, and it's just really fun. And yeah, I just think it. I think like, maybe if you played it on your own, it would be way more challenging though because you literally can't. Like, you can cheat with 2 or 3 people, like
Yeah.
help each other out and stuff. Like to actually physically go through it by yourself and get through all these puzzles, I feel like that would be really difficult.
Yeah, I don't know how you would some of them. And also without using that climbing cheat that we use.
Yeah, where you like grab and then quickly move your hand and grab again, and you can just
Yeah.
like Spider-Man your way up certain things. So we've cheated a little bit, but it's a
Yeah.
fun game though. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, we beat it and then we started doing the like extra content. Yeah.
Yeah, because they originally released with so many levels, and we like got to the point where the credits were rolling. But then there's a bunch of extra levels which we're doing as well. Um, I think there's like mod support or custom level support as well. I think so. You could probably
Yeah.
get a load of more stuff to play. So, like we've played multiple. Like how much? I put like 9 hours into it, maybe. Look on Steam. Yeah, that's 10 hours into the game, and we've still not finished it yet. So there's loads of content. I think it's a
Yeah, it's really
really good
cheap.
value for money as well. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, next one, Resist. This was that one that I was saying was being advertised inside Into Black because it's by
yeah,
the same developer. So obviously it looks cool, swinging around the city. My issue was the controls are just kind of weird, kind of hard to get used to. I kept going in the settings and messing with them to try to get them to feel better.
yeah.
I didn't put a lot of time into this. you play as a woman who kind of has this attitude. She's like in a lot of it, and it's kind of weird. Um, I'm not sure what the story is. I'm not good at paying attention to story, but you start off as like a window cleaner, and you go up to scaffolding, and it teaches you the controls up here. It looks the city looks pretty cool. Um,
Yeah. Is this on PC or on Quest?
this is I think this is PC. I mean, I played it on
Yeah.
PC, and I think this video is PC.
Yeah.
So there might be something here. I didn't give it. I don't know how long I played it. I don't think I even played it for an hour. I might
Yeah.
go back to it. Something about the controls just felt weird. And if you're someone who is like prone to motion sickness, I think it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
It felt weird. Um, this is like a game where I just don't really have anything to say
Yeah. I
other
can
than
tell
I
you're
played it.
struggling.
Yeah. Uh, there was this. Did you ever play that demo years ago? It was called like the Great Gumball or something. It was a free demo. This guy kept
No,
talking about on Reddit.
I don't
Well,
think so. I remember seeing videos of it all the time where it's like like Spider-Man basically.
yeah, it's like that. And you're Spider-Maning
But
around the city, and then it'll be like, there are enemies over here to kill, and you go kill the enemies, and then it'll be like, go back to your hideout. And I don't know. I'm just not sure what the story is or anything. I guess if you're scared of heights, this would be difficult. I don't know.
yeah, you do get quite high up.
It just felt kind of generic and kind of boring. But I
Yeah,
know
that's
it's
the vibe I got from it.
yeah. Um, so I don't know. I'll go to the next one. There were a bunch of games that were on sale, and this was one of them. This might have been $5 on sale. Then Mark's Magnificent Marble Maze. This was $5 on sale.
Oh, this looks cool.
I went into this thinking this was going to be like gamepad only, but actually, you hold one controller like level, and then you just tilt the controller, and that's
Oh,
how you control it. So I thought that was really cool. I was pleasantly surprised. So this
I really
game has
like these
really
sort of marble games.
you what?
I really like Marble
Oh yeah.
Madness games.
Okay, so this was only $5. It was on sale. Um, there was some sort of like beta branch or some shit that I had to go into, and
Right.
I had a little bit of difficulty of getting it to work. I don't remember if I just had to be patient and wait because like it was loading in flat, and then I think I had to wait a little bit, and then the VR started or something. And so, like I said, you hold the controller out and you just rotate it,
Built it.
and it
Yeah.
started out really easy. Then it started getting really hard. Here's the thing with this one. This one is really demanding. You have to put the graphical settings pretty low to be able to run this thing. And I saw in
Really?
yeah,
Oh,
you do. And the developer said it's because of the engine he's running it with. I can't remember why, but like this thing is using like a lot of intense things. I can't tell you what. I don't remember. He said he intends to make a version that's intended for VR, that's optimized for VR because this is far from optimized for VR. So what you're seeing right now is probably the lowest graphical settings, even though it still looks good.
the
So
dynamic shadows.
yeah, with my yeah, with my 4090, it was still struggling. So I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was
It's a
fun.
heavy game.
I got pretty far in it, and it seemed like there were a lot of levels. So it was only $5. And I
I'm
think
just
yeah.
downloading it now. So
Oh,
hang on.
okay. Paradise Decay did a video of it also, like a long time ago, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, then see we're done with your games, so we're just going through mine. This was like $5 too. This is a game. You ever heard of this game called Ship It? It came out in
No.
2016. I must have had it in my wish list
Right.
forever, because like I've never, I was like, what the hell is Ship It? And maybe it never went on sale. And since it did, I was like, all right, sure, I'll try this. And it's basically you have these suitcases in front of you, and you have to fit these Tetris blocks in the suitcase. And once you fill up the suitcase, you put it on the conveyor belt, and then another suitcase will come, and you need to fill that. And you know, the blocks will get more complicated, and you know, standard stuff. You have to reach certain goals, and there's different. I mean, I didn't play it for very long, so I can't say a lot about it. It's teleport only, but that doesn't matter much because you pretty much just stand in this one spot. But I didn't mess with whatever they're showing here. Maybe there's like a room where you can just do whatever you want and stack blocks. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
And box area.
So $5. So that was worth keeping to me. This game, Max Twist. This was one of the worst games I've ever played. It looks
Wow.
cool. So this reminded me of Stun Runner, so that's why it was in my wish list. So I'm going to show you, I have a Stun Runner cabinet because I love Stun Runner so much. This video is me playing my Stun
Right.
Runner cabinet. So I was hoping I'd have something like that, like a game where like the tunnels turn and maybe you're fighting enemies and shit. No,
Yeah.
this game, there are, I don't think there are any enemies, and I think you just go straight the whole time, and you're just avoiding obstacles. You press right trigger or left trigger to turn. You right trigger to turn toward the right, left trigger to turn to the left. And it was just like one of the most indie things I've ever played. Like this
You
was like
basically just stand there and just press on the left and right trigger, and that's it.
that's it. And the menus were very, very ancient VR. And just getting into a level was very strange and very confusing. So sorry, do not get Max Twist.
Yeah.
Okay. And I played the Walkabout Holiday Hideaway level with my neighbor's daughter, the 30-year-old, not 13, 30-year
Yeah.
old, by the way.
That's
And
horrifying.
she really likes Christmas and Christmassy stuff, so I was like, oh, we should play this new level. So I kicked her ass, of course, in this game. It was like -6 to like positive 19 or something. But she doesn't have much
Yeah.
experience in Walkabout. Um,
Did you like it then?
oh yeah, she likes it a lot, but she gets mad. She's very competitive, so she gets mad that I beat her ass every time we play.
Yeah.
So she really wanted to win in boxing. So
Well, that's why she took all the clothes off. So.
exactly, that distracted me.
Serious.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
oh yeah, I said to her, I know how to hack into your cameras and see everything, and that might have distracted her for a second when I said that.
Okay. Do you
Um,
know how to do that?
no, I don't. I was like, I'm in cyber.
Oh, right.
I know how to do all that shit. Yeah, you didn't know I've been doing
Alright.
that to you this whole time, Alex? Yeah. So
No, hang on. Let me take all my clothes off then.
now we're talking.
Yeah.
Uh, so this level, I don't know, pretty basic. They did have some where your ball turns into an ice cube, like they did previously. This
Yeah.
level is mostly just all about the scenery.
Yeah. It looks like you like go inside, like you're really inside like a tree and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're like miniature, like a toy, so everything's big. And I
It
don't know.
looks
That's
cool.
about it. Yeah,
Cheated on me with my
yeah,
walkabout.
yeah. I
Play
did.
with other people.
You're too busy with having a real life and shit.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
Now we'll go on to 2024 Game of the Year. So these are the games we considered as nominees. So Alien Rogue Incursion, Batman Arkham Shadow, Metro Awakening, Skydance's Behemoth, Into Black, Riven, Human Fall Flat VR, Max Mustard, Genotype, Vampire the Masquerade Justice, The House of Da Vinci, Subside, and I added one that I shouldn't have added, Orcs Must Die 3, UEVR. I added that because I had so much fun playing that in UEVR this year, but the game came out in 2020 on Stadia and then 2021 on Steam, so it can't really count. But you couldn't play it in VR until this year. So
True.
I put it there
But I
anyway.
don't know. Can we include UEVR games, because then we'd like open up so many
Yes.
actual games.
I say yes. I say yes, you can.
I say no.
Oh, you
It
say
has to be
no.
VR.
Okay, well, I'm
Yeah.
curious though. If you could add a UEVR game to this list, would it go above your potential number one?
What if it had to release this year? I don't know, because I've
Yeah,
not really
it would.
played many UEVR games that have released this year. I mean, there's Silent Hill 2
Did you
remake,
play that?
which I imagine if I played, I've not played it, but if I
Oh
did, I
well.
probably would rate that
Well,
above
well, you had to have played
most of
it.
the game.
If you didn't play it, it can't.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it
Yeah,
opens up so many, like it opens up basically bigger budget
yeah,
games that
that's
you
true.
won't get in VR. So
Well, it's
you
only
never
an
gonna.
honorable. I put it there as an honorable mention, basically,
Yeah, I
because
think it's worth mentioning it.
yeah, the truth is that's the
I know
game
you've
I
been
had the.
playing It
Mhm.
Takes Two.
Oh, that I didn't play that in VR though
Oh, you did play it in VR.
because I couldn't get it to work with the injector.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Orcs Must Die 3 in UEVR is the game I had the most fun with, I would say, all year. So
Hmm.
that's why I put it there. So,
What's the actual pick?
what's my actual pick?
Yeah,
I I think, despite all the shit we said, I think my pick is Batman Arkham Shadow.
interesting.
Yeah. And so far, I think my number 2 is Alien Rogue Incursion. Number 3
Yeah,
is very hard. It's not going to be Metro Awakening
yeah,
or Behemoth. Uh so with Riven, I loved Riven. It had performance problems. So Riven is UE5, just like Alien and Metro. Not Metro, Behemoth. Metro
yeah,
might be UE5. I don't know what
yeah.
Metro is. Um those UE5 games have major performance problems. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, even out of VR, they have problems. So something about the engine which they really need to work on, because
I'm
it's
still probably putting
very
Riven
heavy.
I'm still probably putting Riven at my number 3.
Okay,
And like maybe I
interesting.
would say Into Black is number 4. And then after
The
that
problem
I
I've
don't
got
know.
is that I've not played through all of the games. Like, I've not finished most of these games, so it's hard for
Yeah.
me to really say definitively. Alien Rogue Incursion, I've literally played 45 minutes or something,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's impossible for me to say. I think, actually, of all these games, the one that I've had the most fun with, if it's just pure fun, would be Human Fall Flat VR,
Yeah.
the game that I've enjoyed the most.
Okay.
I also really enjoyed Subside, which was that diving game,
Mhm.
just because it was just such a cool exploration thing with the like photorealistic graphics and swimming around, and I spent so much time in that just getting all the collectibles so I could unlock the shark tank and the whale thing. Um, so that's another game that I really enjoyed. But you can't really put them at the top compared to some of the other stuff we've had, like obviously Batman and Alien and Behemoth.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really difficult, like for me to pick, because, like I say, based on what I've played so far, I would say my favorite out of the main ones would be Behemoth,
Oh.
and then Then I would say probably Metro. I haven't played enough Alien to know. I really enjoyed the House of Da Vinci as well. I don't know. I would say probably yeah, like Behemoth, Metro, Batman, based on what I've played so far. But it could change the more I play these games. So it's not like my final pick, but
And you
that
haven't
would be
played
how it
enough
is
Alien. Yeah, I
as of
guess you
yet.
haven't played enough Alien to rank it anywhere yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I've based on what I've played, I think it probably would overtake Batman and Metro, maybe even Behemoth. It could be my number one. I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a big Aliens fan, and it does feel like a really solid game, other than performance issues and maybe if some slight balancing issues with the xenomorphs. But other than that, I just think, yeah, it's been a difficult year because we've had so many good games, but none of them have really stood out to me as like the best game.
Yeah.
Like normally there'll be one game that releases where I'm like, yeah, that is the game. That's my top game.
Last year that was
That's not
Vertigo
happened this
2.
year.
Vertigo 2, we were both like, yeah, definitely game of the year.
Well, the funny thing is that I didn't have my PSVR 2 at the time,
Uh-huh.
so that wouldn't actually be my game of the year because
Oh yeah.
for me, Resident Evil 4 and Gran Turismo 7 VR are above
Okay.
that, but which is the problem because if you've not played all the games, then how can you like you can only go off what
Yeah.
you've already played and how much you've played of them at
Well,
this point.
that's what it is. It's not. This is our game of the year.
Yeah,
It's not the game of the year. It's
yeah. It just always feels a bit unfair on like the games because I've not played them fully. Where you, I mean, you have obviously you because you just play a game until you finish it.
Yeah. But I haven't played.
But yeah,
I haven't played Resident Evil 4 or Gran Turismo or any of that PSVR 2 shit. Um, and I looked it up. That came
no.
out on my birthday. Resident Evil 4 came out on my birthday last year.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And our we go
Nice.
strict. You know, we it has to be 2024. We don't do any of this shit like where we include December.
Oh yeah, that annoys me. When it didn't
Yeah.
make the cut, so it's now it
Yeah.
comes because then they always get shafted because
Yeah.
like how are you going to remember a game that came out literally almost 12 months ago compared to the most recent stuff? So they never get Game of the Year, which is
Yeah.
annoying. That's why I don't like these game awards because they never. It's not the game of the year. It's the game of 9 months. You know what I mean? It's not like
Yeah.
it's not a
Yeah.
game of the entire year. A
Yeah.
lot of the best games come out towards the end of the year as well.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Trombone Champ Unflattened. That could be
Exactly.
the
Hey,
game of
why
the
isn't that on here? I forgot. That's a glaring
that
omission.
that, that should be in there. Actually, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I think it's just because I've played so much of it, and I don't even think about the game
Yeah.
as a personal game for me. It's not a game I play
Yeah.
in my personal time.
Okay. Upcoming games. Uh, you've heard of this Pirates VR Jolly Roger? January
I,
14th.
we I remember seeing the original trailer, which was like properly just CGI fake VR.
Yeah.
Have we actually had a new trailer which shows actual gameplay of this? I can't
I'll show
say.
you. Here it is.
It looks like the same trailer. Is this not the
Some
same
CG
trailer we saw?
well, this is somebody's moving their hand. This looks
Yeah, I
interesting.
feel like it's one of those. If this isn't
He's
actual
swimming.
gameplay, then obviously it looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, actually, it looks pretty good.
Maybe it'll
Yeah.
be Unreal Engine 5 and it'll run like shit.
Actually, this looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just been such a like no one's like talked about this game. It's
I
just
know.
like gone silent, and then they're just so weird.
It reminds me of that other game. What's that game that came with starts with a B?
Free one,
What?
but it was free, and the Coral of the Blue
Free?
Sea, whatever it was.
Not free. Oh, not that one. No. The one that's brutal. Uh something Island, Bear. I keep thinking like Bare Naked Island. We I think you got a free key for it. I played it. I did a video of it. I can't even remember the name of it.
Oh, Bootstrap Island.
Bootstrap. Yeah, it reminds me of that a
Yeah,
little bit. Yeah,
yeah.
Bootstrap. There was an update for Bootstrap where they added there's like a
A boss
gorilla
guy or something.
boss. Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
tried it. I still haven't tried it. Uh okay, so this one that was what? Well, that was January 14th on Steam. Then Arcane Age is January 16th on Steam and PlayStation.
Yep.
Assetto
Looks
Corsa
good.
EVO is January 16th on Steam.
Looks good.
Alien Rogue Incursion is February 13th on Quests. Who knows how that's going to perform?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No wonder they delayed it.
exactly. Then Hitman World of Assassination is March 27th on PlayStation. And now we have
Yeah.
a trailer for Vertigo 2 into the, I don't know if it's Ether or
Ether?
Aether. That's
Yeah.
March 30th on Steam. So this is a new
DLC.
one. So one thing I don't like about this is it's mostly black and white. But then I guess the enemies are colorful. You do
Oh,
have
is
a
the entire
grappling,
thing like that?
a lot of it. You have a grappling hook, which is what appears to be the main change. Oh, that's another thing about
Yeah.
Behemoth. The grappling hook in Behemoth does not work well. That's another thing that annoyed the shit out of me.
Okay.
So I'm eager to see what you say about all of that.
Yeah. This looks really cool. I think this like aesthetic looks really cool. If it's the entire game, I mean, I guess it depends how long it is as well. If it's DLC, it might only be like 2 or 3 hours long. I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
have you tried any of the? Because obviously they released like level maker where you can make your own levels. Have you tried any of the custom like
Nah, I've
levels
never
that people have
I've
made?
never even tried the other characters he added. I still
Yeah,
haven't.
because there's some really even just the three base levels that Zach made himself.
Oh,
Just to
he
like showcase.
he made some. Oh, then I should play those.
He made three like that you that are pre-installed,
Uh-huh.
and they're worth playing because they're really good, and they show off like each of the characters' abilities and
Oh.
stuff.
You probably told me this already and I probably forgot.
Probably, yeah.
Probably. Cuz there's too many games I have to play. It's just
Yeah, we do have a lot. I mean, I wonder if next year is going to be the same or if it's going to be like quieter. But we've already
I
got a
would
few coming out in the first month, so
I wouldn't mind quieter. That'd be fine.
yeah. I think uh, I think it would have been way better if these like released gradually throughout the year. Like everything came out within the last 3 months. It was insane.
Yeah.
We just haven't had the time to play
Yeah.
them.
All right. Anything else?
No, that's it. It's been a good year. I
Yeah.
think. Would you say it's been the best year for VR games?
I can't remember last year. I know I said Vertigo 2. I don't remember like what we listed as our next ones. And the year before, 2022, that wasn't very good because my number one was Red Matter 2. I don't think that's a very good year if that's the number one.
Yeah,
Yours was Moss Book 2.
yeah. I mean, there were we. That's what I mean. Like most years, we have like top three is pretty easy because there's probably only really three decent games throughout the entire year. Like we
Yeah.
can just like, oh well, top three. Well, you've got these three because they're the best ones that easily came out. Whereas this year, there's been so many good games,
Yeah.
and obviously they're not like as good as what we probably really really want, but they're
Yeah.
still good games.
Yeah.
Um, hopefully, I think one thing that's there's so many games. Maybe like it's a struggle now for developers to even get like sales because if there's so many games coming out at the same time, how do you get like the spotlight on your game? How do you get people to pay? Like, because people haven't got infinite money, so they can only buy maybe a few games. They can't buy every single game that comes out. So,
And UEVR also, does that take away VR developer money?
I feel like that's such a. I think the people who play that sort of games don't really buy that many VR games anyway. To be honest, I think they're more like people that are into mods. But I've not really touched on UEVR much this year. Like once it came, it's funny because before it came out, I had access to it and I was playing a bunch of stuff, and then when it
Mhm.
came out, I was like, okay,
Oh,
I'll just play
after
VR games for
after
now.
New Year's this year, you pretty much lost
Yeah,
interest because you'd done
I
it for
barely
so
touched
long.
it.
Wow.
Yeah, I played all the stuff I wanted to play already. So.
Wow.
Well, there is that System Shock mod which I want to try, but you said that's not that great. So
Oh, that wasn't good. It
yeah,
was very difficult to control unless he's updated it and made it better. You
I
know.
mean, there's a Silent Hill too. VR mod that Praydog did
Yeah.
with the UAVR, so that's one to try.
Yeah, so is that a separate GitHub or do you go to the UEVR GitHub for that?
I don't know. I think it might be part of the. I think you have to get the latest version of UEVR, and it should be there, but I don't know. I've not looked into it enough.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Should probably end this podcast. Really, we're just
Probably.
chatting at this
Probably.
point.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That's it. Bye.
Bye.